out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Fifth-round pick, quarterback Shedeur Sanders has made the Browns' 53-man roster. He's set to back up starter Joe Flacco along with fellow rookie Dylan Gabriel. The Saints named Spencer Rattler their starting quarterback for Week 1. One big contract standoff remains with just a little over a week to go before the Eagles-Cowboys NFL season opener, Micah Parsons. Contract talks, no practice for the star edge rusher this summer. Quarterback Dak Prescott's expressed confidence that Parsons will be available on September 4th. It, though, would be irresponsible for him to play in Philly, says ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
You have to be in football shape. The only way you are in football shape is by doing football things, by being in pads, by practicing. He hasn't done any of that. This is not about one game, not about the opening game. This is about a 17-game slate that you want Michael Parsons available for.
Colorado named transfer Caden Salter their starting quarterback ahead of Friday's opener against Georgia Tech. Yankees and Giants will open up the 2026 Major League Baseball season March 25th, earliest opening day other than international games.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Wednesday, Caleb Williams has his new head coach. But how patient will Bears fans be with Caleb this season? It's on Sportsman like 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN 2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Johnny Avello, the DraftKings Sportsbook manager, will be here in about 15 minutes. Talk some LSU, Clemson. Shea Dixon moves to Hour 2. Scott Shanley in Hour 3. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
We have white smoke from the Saints facility on Airline Drive in Metairie. The Alleluia chorus plays. The Band of Angels sings. Kellen Moore has finally made a decision who will be his starting quarterback.
Spencer Rattler is our starting quarterback. Really, really excited for him. He's done an awesome job this offseason. He's just been consistent. He's made some really good decisions throughout this whole entire process. And, you know, his ability to make plays with his arm and his feet have certainly shown up. And so I'm really, really excited about Spencer. He's earned this opportunity. He's going to do a tremendous job for us.
So Spencer Rattler is the guy for the New Orleans Saints, at least for now. Ross Jackson has done a really great job over at LouisianaSports.net all throughout Saints training camp, charting every single rep that both guys took in practice, 11 on 11, 7 on 7, and in the preseason games. And like we talked about a day ago, this was a virtual dead heat. And Kellen Moore said when he met with reporters on Monday that the greater, challenge or focus for the coaching staff, the organization, coming out of the preseason game number 3 was focusing on getting your roster from 90 to 53, more so than naming a starting quarterback. The hay was in the barn, but they had to get from 90 to 53. They weren't going to practice between now and then. They had to ultimately make a decision, but getting from 90 to 53 was the bigger chore, and then they could name a starter. And now since they've done that and begun the process of notifying the players that have been cut or waived, they could go ahead and announce that Spencer Rattler is going to be the starter. I don't think that this should come as a great surprise to anybody. I talked about it yesterday. It's been kind of the feeling all along, is that Rattler would be first. I still maintain my belief that Shuck will be the eventuality. For all the reasons from the day the Saints drafted Tyler Shough that have felt that way. This is a coaching staff that, when they took this job, knew they had Spencer Rattler on the roster and still used the 40th pick for Tyler Shough. Tyler Shough is a 25-year-old rookie. So you're talking about a guy that is a little bit older, but still gaining experience. The fact that you played the third preseason game and you played the starters, although Kamara was out there for one snap, you still had your starters, your starting offensive line, your starting receivers. Kamara was out there, Juwan Johnson, and Spencer Rattler got that opportunity to start. Now, he didn't do anything spectacular, didn't do anything devastating either, but nonetheless, it was Spencer Rattler who got the start, which should have been an indicator that he would continue to be the starter. I really just have this question of how long he can hold on to that job. Now, I want to reiterate, and one of the wonderful things about the digital era, we talk about all the time, everything you say is recorded. And when the Saints drafted Spencer Rattler a year ago, I really liked the pick. Not that I thought necessarily Spencer Rattler was going to become the Saints franchise quarterback, but I liked the pick in the sense that Spencer Rattler was so physically gifted that at one point he was a 5-star quarterback, and at one point during his time at Oklahoma, he was the projected number 1 pick in the draft. Before the season at OU where he lost his job to Caleb Williams, Rattler was the projected number 1 pick in the draft. We know what happened. Williams takes his job. Rattler goes to South Carolina, is pretty good there for 2 seasons, goes into the draft. Saints take him in round 5. Okay. I like the fact that you have a supremely talented guy that was humbled enough to work hard. Is the physical ability in there for Spencer Rattler? Yes. Is the ability to be a franchise quarterback in there? Don't know. But I'm still excited to see. I'm not necessarily going to throw dirt on that. You can, the two things are not mutually exclusive. Two things can be true at the same time. All the things I just said about Rattler and the point about Tyler Shough, where this is still a coaching staff that knew what they had in Spencer Rattler and still used the 40th overall pick for Tyler Shough, the highest drafted quarterback since Archie Manning 50 years ago. And yes, eventually, any coaching staff is going to ride with their guys. So whether that's week 1, week 5, week 10, whenever it may be, I do expect at some point Tyler Shough is going to be the starting quarterback on this team. Now, Rattler played in 7 games a year ago. He threw 4 touchdowns and 5 picks. His quarterback rating was 40.3. Not very good. There were times a year ago for Spencer Rattler where it looked pretty good. For a half against Tampa Bay, he looked like he could be a Hall of Famer. And then you had a defensive-minded head coach crank up the defensive intensity, blitz the hell out of him in the second half, and he ends up throwing 2 picks in the half, and the Saints lose to Tampa 51-27. That's the thing that happened. There was some good. There was more bad than good, and it will be interesting to see how much refinement Spencer Rattler has had year to year. When I look at the New Orleans Saints in 2025, they open up against Arizona in the Dome, and I do believe that is a winnable game for New Orleans. Just like a year ago when they opened with Carolina and Dallas, who ended up being two of the worst teams in the league, those were very winnable games and games that the Saints went out and won. Now, you had a veteran quarterback in Derek Carr. You do not have that right now, but you do have a healthy offensive line, healthy skill guys around your young quarterback. And the one thing that I wanted more than any to judge Spencer Rattler and why I don't hold his record last year against him is because Spencer Rattler was playing with a preseason offense. When you've got Eric McCoy out and Lucas Patrick is in at center, when you're rotating Nick Saldiveri in at left guard, when you've got a rookie left tackle in Taliese Fuaga who is a right tackle in college, when Trevor Penning is your right tackle, I'm not going to judge you necessarily based on how all that went. Taysom got hurt. Foster Moreau got hurt at the end of the season, of course, but Taysom got hurt at the beginning of December when Rattler was starting there near the end of the season. Kamara missed the final month of the season. It's hard. Olave and Shaheed were gone. Olave missed half the season. It's hard to judge a rookie quarterback when he's playing with a preseason offense, with a practice squad offense. Now, from jump, he'll have a healthy starting offensive line. He'll have Olave and Shaheed. He'll have Kamara. He'll have Juwan Johnson. Okay, let me see what this looks like. Now you got Arizona, then you're home against San Francisco. Then you go at Seattle, at Buffalo. If you don't get that game against Arizona, you probably don't have an opportunity to win until your home game against New York or New England, October 5th or October the 12th. So you lose the opener to Arizona. You're very likely starting 0-4. And at that point, you could potentially, when it flips to October, and you got Giants, Patriots, both at home, that could be an opportunity, weeks 4 and 5, to see, or excuse me, weeks 5 and 6, New York and New England, weeks 5 and 6. That could be the spot. If you're looking for a potential target where you might see Tyler Shough, I'd circle those two home games. Because you get two games that seem winnable against New York and against the Giants in New England before you go on the road to Chicago. Then you're back home against Tampa, and then you're at the Rams, at Carolina before your bye, and then you come down the home stretch. If you manage to win a couple in those first 4, you come home to play New York and New England, you got a chance to have your head above water in the middle of October. And it's a very dramatically different conversation. I just don't think that's reality. I don't think New Orleans is going to beat San Francisco. I don't think they're going to win at Seattle or at Buffalo, which means you're starting 1-3 or 0-4. And if that's the case, when you get to October, that might be an opportunity where you look for Tyler Shough. So if you're looking for a spot on the schedule to say, all right, Matt, if you're right, and ultimately they do go to Shough, where might that happen? Look at the beginning of October to see if that could be the opportunity for the Saints maybe to make that switch. All right, it's after further review. We're going to talk plenty about this throughout the show today. Kellen Moore, as we mentioned, met with reporters. We got a lot to do. LSU, naturally, is going to play Clemson this weekend. You know that by now. We're going to cover that game from all angles here throughout this week. And one of those, of course, is from the sports book, the betting angle. Johnny Avello is the DraftKings Sportsbook Director. He's going to join us here in just a second. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers. The new white LSU cans and aluminum bottles are out. It's obviously a hat tip to LSU wearing the white jerseys at home. They're gorgeous. If you haven't seen them, look for them at retailers near you. When you go out to a restaurant, a bar, game watch, party, tailgate, make sure you ask for and reach for the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the Tigers, and the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. All right, it's after further review. Johnny Avello from DraftKings here next. It's AFR.
After further review.
You had stomach issues? Maybe Crohn's, other autoimmune disorders that maybe affect the gut? You may want to look into BPC 157. You've heard me talk about it before. It's great for tissue repair, recovering from injuries. But BPC 157, Body Protection Compound 157, it's a pentadecapeptide, means it's a strand of 15 different amino acids, that is actually derived from gastric juice and has been proven through clinical tests to help people with gut issues. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk certainty, but it's worth having a conversation. Where do you get BPC 157? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Man, I thought they were a ED clinic. Yes, they do ED treatments, but they also do hormone therapy and dozens of different peptide therapies and ways to help you feel and live your best life. Lowest prices, never any contracts. YourGoodWood.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
They've lost 5 in a row 4 times as favorites. Now, I give them credit for having the guts to play these tough openers. Not many schools do that. This is the toughest assignment of them all, though. You got a reconstructed offensive line around Garrett Nussmeier, debuting in a frenzied environment against a very good defensive front. Clemson might have the best D-line in the country. So there's a lot going on early in that game to get them settled in. They don't have a great running game to lean on, so Nussmeier here is going to have to be exceptional and accurate. I think he's capable, but Clemson's favored for a reason.
That is Chris Fowler, of course, who will be on the call along with Kirk Herbstreit. Saturday night, Clemson, LSU. The Clemson Tigers have been favored throughout the entire offseason. We're covering this game from every angle you can imagine. Naturally, one of them is going to be what the sports books think of Clemson and LSU. So we call on Johnny Avello. Got to meet Johnny at the Super Bowl there at Media Row. He's the director of sportsbook operations over at DraftKings. Of course, we're a very proud DraftKings partner here on AFR and throughout 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge, our entire lineup all throughout the day. Hey, Johnny, we appreciate the time. How are you?
Hey, guys. Good to speak to you again. I'm doing great. Looking forward to the beginning. Well, I can't say it's the beginning of the season, but it's the beginning of the season.
Week 0 is a great appetizer. This, of course, is the main course, and the entree is LSU and Clemson primetime there at 6:30 Central Time at Clemson. Right now, the line at DraftKings, you all have it at 3.5. Can you walk us through setting this line for this game?
Sure. Clemson's home field advantage is pretty strong, and if you want to go back and look at Clemson games over the last 10 years or so, they don't lose much at home. Matter of fact, you want to go over the last 50 years, they don't lose much at home. It's very strong home field advantage. But we opened 3 thinking that the two teams were pretty close on the power rating side, and we got pushed from the 3 up to 3.5. Now, that's not a big move at the half a point, but it did move us off of a key number in football, 3. Now, that 3 is much bigger in pro football than it is in college football. And it's for various reasons. I mean, pro football games, 1 out of every 7 games or so falls 3. Whereas in, college football, that doesn't happen as frequently. But still, it is a key number. It is a number could fall on. But they moved us off of it. We're at 3.5. Since we've gone to 3.5, we've taken back some money on the LSU side. And so the tickets, last I looked, we were split on the tickets really close, even amount of tickets on each side. And we're also a little bit heavy on the LSU side with them taking a point. So at this point, with a lot of time to go, and then most of the money is going to come in, 90% of the money will come in on game day and closer to game time. But at this point, they like the LSU team in the spot.
You mentioned Clemson and their home field advantage. What is the point spread value for Clemson on their home field?
It's about 4 to start the season. I mean, it could get stronger as the season goes on, but that's the starting number for us is 4.
So if this were a neutral site game, if I'm reading that correctly, this would be a virtual pick 'em at a neutral site?
Pretty much. Yeah. That's correct.
And then if it was in Baton Rouge, which way would it go?
LSU's home field advantage is not as strong. So they're worth a few point 2.5. So it would be, just look at it that way. They would be probably probably a point dog, maybe in the game, something like that.
Okay, interesting to see how all that can affect. What about the quarterbacks in this game, John? You get 2 veterans in Garrett Nussmeier and obviously Cade Klubnik. I know point spread value for individual players like quarterbacks in the NFL, it could be massive depending on who we're talking about. If it's Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen as opposed to, say, Spencer Rattler. But what about these 2 guys? How do you factor in the point spread value with the 2 quarterbacks?
You're right. They are veterans. They've had successful years the last couple. One thing about college football that is different than pros, we seem to get the same backup in pro football. If it's, I can't say it's the same guy every time, but whoever it is a backup. That's what he is, a backup. Because if he's not a backup, why isn't he starting for that team or going to some other team? In college football is a little different. Sometimes when the starter gets hurt, the backup comes in, and sometimes it's a freshman, and the freshman does real well, and sometimes he takes over the starting position, goes on to be a star in college football. So it's a little bit different in college football. But these 2 guys, they're pretty similar, I would say. I mean, they both can put points on the board. I don't believe this is going to be a low-scoring game by any means. So I think both guys will be successful in this game. I know that the Clemson's O-line is very good.
Johnny, do me a favor. Sit tight real quick. We're losing you on the phone. Let's see if we can get you in a better connection right there. I'm just having trouble. The cell was going into a bad spot. Let's see if we can get reconnected there with Johnny in a better spot. I want to finish that conversation. I want to ask him about some of the prop bets. Want to ask him about some of the line movement, some of the other games in the college weekend. Quick reminder about our friends over at Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Always got Evamore right here on the set with me. Drink it every day. I keep Evamore at my house, the 64-ounce bottles. I put it in my Keurig at home. Evamore is just a part of my daily routine now. It's a healthier alternative. It is it's natural artesian water. It's Evamore. It's a Louisiana product. Why would you buy water from some foreign land? This is from natural underground aquifers, millions of years in the making. It's Evamore. Drink Evamore. EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Find it at great local retailers or online at Evamore.com. Of course, if you don't see it at your favorite local retailer. Ask why they're not carrying Evamore. EVAMOR, Evamore.com. All right, do we have Johnny?
They're going to call us right back.
Okay,
here.
great.
Just
perfect. I want to get. There's just a few more things I want to touch on with Johnny. I apologize. That's Johnny Avello, who's the director of sportsbook operations over at DraftKings. We're covering the LSU-Clemson game from every angle possible, but we're just having a little bad spot there with the cell, so I want to get him into a better spot. Okay, we're good to go. All right, we got Johnny back. Apologize for that, Johnny. We just got into a bad spot with the cell. Are there? We were talking about the total in this game, and you thought both quarterbacks would probably see a lot of points. What about props in this game?
Yeah, the jurisdictions where we can have them, we put up a bunch. Not all states and all jurisdictions allow them. But
unfortunately, in Louisiana, we can't. So sometimes might go across the state line to place one if we feel bullish on it.
But we'll have their passing totals. We'll have rushing totals. We'll keep some of that stuff open on the in-game side. So that is very popular betting, and like I say, in those jurisdictions that will accept it. This total opened 56.5. It's been pushed to 57.5, and I don't think it's actually going to go down from that point. There's excellent offense on both sides. Clemson's got great wide receivers, good offensive line, so they should be able to move the ball, and I don't think LSU will have any trouble moving it either.
Hey, Johnny, we're having a little trouble with him, but I want to get one more in. When you look at the rest of the card outside of LSU Clemson, which games seem to be drawing the most action this weekend there at DraftKings?
There's only one other game that could probably compete with that for
Texas.
handle, and that's going to be Texas-Ohio State. We opened up Ohio State 3. That's down to 2.5. That's kind of rare, to have Ohio State that short of a favorite. But, Texas is ranked 1, and the bettors believe in them, and so that's come down a bit from the opening line.
Okay, well, the phone is actually cooperating now, so let me get greedy and ask you about Alabama visiting Florida State as well, nearly a 2-touchdown favorite.
Yeah, I could tell by our future book that, normally Alabama gets hit pretty hard on the future side, and they're not taking the money they usually take, so I can tell you they're not being backed at least heavily on the future side on this particular game. This is a wait and see how good this Alabama team really is. I mean, we've got them, they're in the top 10 for sure as far as future wagers concerned, but they're normally a lot closer to the top spot.
As far as handle, would that be the third largest on the weekend behind LSU, Clemson, and Texas, Ohio State?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it will be, for sure.
So would you anticipate, I know I'm asking you to peer into your crystal ball a little bit here, would you anticipate any line movement based on what typical action you get with a team like Alabama closer to kickoff?
I could see that game going a little higher. I mean, I could see that game moving, more in Alabama's favor because, Alabama usually gets, they score a lot. They're usually the side that the public likes. Like I said, they're not as interested this year, but in a game like this, they just might be.
He's Johnny Avello, the director of sportsbook operations over at DraftKings. Of course, we've been a proud DraftKings partner here for many years and continue to be so. Johnny, it was great talking to you at the Super Bowl. This feels kind of like the Super Bowl in Baton Rouge with LSU and Clemson week finally here. We appreciate the time. We'll look forward to visiting again down the line.
Oh, you're welcome, guys. Have a good day.
It's our pleasure. That's Johnny Avello, again, the director of sportsbook operations over at DraftKings. Be sure to download the DraftKings app if you haven't. I mean, we do Otterlocks every day. We give you our best bets every day with Jimmy at the end of the show. We always encourage you to go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Another reason to do so, obviously, is when we talk about Major League Baseball plays, DraftKings is one that does let you bet on the point line. Like you can lay a run instead of on the half line, so a half point. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. We appreciate DraftKings for being a great partner. Appreciate the perspective there from Johnny. So it was interesting to hear him say that Clemson's home field advantage is more than LSU's. And the only thing that I can make sense of there, I know we're all going to recoil when we hear that. The only thing I can make sense of there is Clemson's home record. And that's by and large because of the league they play in, where they've dominated their conference and they seldom lose home. Now, they lost at home twice last year. They lost at home to Louisville and they lost at home to South Carolina. And then we think about LSU a season ago, who was obviously outstanding at home. A huge upset win against Ole Miss at home. I mean, LSU's only losses were a neutral site to Southern Cal. And then, of course, at Texas A&M and at forgive me, they lost at home to Alabama. Forgive me. So they lost the one game at home. But maybe that's the bigger piece there is just LSU's going to play harder games in the SEC. You're going to lose more at home than you are Clemson. So fascinating, though, to see how they piece all those together. He did say he thinks that total is going to continue to rise. So if you like the under, like I do, I think this is a more defensive game on Saturday. It's at 56.5. He said, or it opened 56.5. It's at 57.5. He said he could see it going higher as well. Public loves to bet overs. That's one where I would probably wait and maybe look to make a play on Saturday closer to kickoff so you can get a bigger number there and bet the under. All right, it's after further review. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Check them out, Bunkie and below. You want a Deere, you're going to Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Okay, y'all, we're going to knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go around the SEC. Dabo previews the LSU game, and in about 30 minutes from right now, we're going to dive deeper into the New Orleans Saints roster cuts, as about 30 minutes ago, Saints had to get down to their final first 53. We'll dive into the big names and decisions that were made here in about half an hour. It's AFR.
AFR.
The new agent225.com finally is here. I've been telling you about it. The most user-friendly website in real estate just got a facelift. Agent225.com, agent225.com. I'll tell you, the first thing I did, if you go to the home page, right there at the bottom right, it says home value. You could type that in or click that button, and within a few clicks, just type in your address, and in a few seconds, like less than 30 seconds, you can have the estimated value of your home right there. So if you're thinking about selling, hey, what's my home worth? It's a great way right there to find out what your home could be worth if you were to sell. And of course, if you're going to sell, why would you hire anyone other than the realtor that quite literally sells more homes than anyone? Start at agent225.com. When you scroll down, you'll see you could search inventory by area, by different demographics and different priorities. It's agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Fields in the hot summer sun, over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with
Coach Kelly his track record is, easy to look up. He's had a long track record of winning for a long time, so you don't get lucky and have jobs like LSU. He's a great coach and, has his team really well positioned to have a great year.
Dabo Sweeney meeting with reporters, getting ready for the LSU-Clemson opener. Of course, by the time we get to Friday, everyone's going to be sick and tired of talking about this game if you're not already, but we'll cover it from every angle. And much has been made of LSU losing 5 consecutive openers, 3 under Brian Kelly. It's worth noting that Clemson's lost their last 2. Last year, they got drubbed by Georgia 34-3. And remember, 2 years ago, they lost that opener on the road at Duke, which is a massive upset for then Duke head coach Mike Elko, who then, of course, came to Texas A&M. So Clemson has not been elite in these openers. And one of the things we talked about a day ago a little bit that I went really deep into this on my Locked on LSU podcast episode, which dropped today. If you want to go check it out, podcast, YouTube, just search Locked on LSU. If you're not familiar, it's a daily 27-minute podcast. It's just nuts and bolts, news and notes about LSU. But we talked a little bit yesterday about Clemson's rush defense. And there's been so much made of LSU's offensive line, the 5 new starters on the offensive line. And that's very real. It's a very real thing. LSU's got guys that have combined to play more than 100 games, start more than 60. That's on the offensive line. They've got experience, they've got talent, they've got depth. What they don't have is the experience of the 5 playing together. And they're going to be going up against a Clemson defensive front that boasts 2 exceptional players with TJ Edwards and Peter Woods. And I look at those 2 guys and they're outstanding, but they're part of a defensive front that was not very good a year ago. Clemson was 84th in the country in rush defense. And in their 4 losses, Georgia, Louisville, South Carolina, and Texas, in 3 of the 4, they allowed over 200 yards. Now, Parker and Woods were very good throughout the course of the season. But by and large, like when you look at Parker, for example, who's the end, he wears number 3. Woods is the big interior defensive tackle who wears number 11. So you're going to want to know those numbers. Well, Parker had 5 TFLs in one game, a game against Pitt. He had 4 sacks and 5 TFLs. He had 19 and a half TFLs for the season, but half of them came in 2 games, which is not to say, you can't minimize that. It goes to show he has game-wrecking ability. Also true is he was neutralized for a dozen games, whereas impact was minimal. You just have to make sure that he doesn't wreck the game. Is he capable? Absolutely. You just have to make sure he doesn't wreck the game for you. But in those 4 losses, 3 of them, the opponents ran for over 200 yards. The other was Georgia, who ran for 169. By the way, Georgia was the 2nd worst rushing offense in the SEC a year ago, ahead of only LSU. So all that to say, yes, Parker and Woods are very good players. They're outstanding. They're probably both going to be first-round draft picks. But it is possible, like Harold Perkins in 2023, to have an outstanding talent who stuffs the stat sheet on a bad defense. And I think that was the case with these 2 guys a year ago. Now, they got a new defensive coordinator with Tom Allen coming in, who's got SEC experience, was at Ole Miss with Hugh Freeze, was the head coach at Indiana. Last year was the defensive coordinator at Penn State, and now has left Penn State, is coming into Clemson. But that Clemson rush defense has an awful lot to prove this year. because they have had outstanding offensive skill. Klubnik, their top 3 receivers are back. You had a really good tight end a year ago. Phil Maffa, who's now in the NFL at running back. But it is fair. It is fair to look at Clemson's rush defense and say they were not good last year. Now, is LSU capable of going and moving bodies, which they were not capable of doing a year ago? Maybe. We'll see. But maybe the task isn't as great as I and many of us have built it up to be this offseason. You can have outstanding players that are part of a bad unit, and that might be the case at Clemson. We'll know on Saturday. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Supper Club. I had a great convo earlier today with Chef Layton over at Supper Club. Now, they're back open today. Remember, they're open Tuesday to Saturday. Hey, I want you to write down the date, September the 9th, 9/9. The Joe Burrow Foundation is doing an awesome event called Dine with 9 on September the 9th. Of course, Joe Burrow's number is 9. So on 9/9, there's, in all the different markets that Joe Burrow has affected, Southeast Ohio, Cincinnati, Baton Rouge, they're teaming with restaurants to where 9% of all the sales on that day will go to the Joe Burrow Foundation to help, obviously, feed and help the less fortunate. And Supper Club is participating. So if you've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to try Supper Club, or if you've been and you're waiting for the right opportunity to go back, September the 9th, 9/9. Dine with 9. Now, Joe Burrow's going to be playing in the NFL. He's not going to be at Supper Club, but it's a great way to go have an awesome meal and support the Joe Burrow Foundation. Again, 9/9, September the 9th, Dine with 9 at Supper Club. Get your reservations at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Really significant news for Shane Beamer as transfer running back Rasul Faison has been granted additional eligibility by the NCAA. He's a Utah State transfer. He was second-team All-Conference a year ago, signed with the Gamecocks in January, but has just now been cleared by the NCAA. He was the 5th best running back in the portal top 100 from this past cycle. He will replace all SEC running back Rocket Sanders, who was outstanding for South Carolina a year ago, but now is in the NFL.
Texas A&M!
Aggies wide receiver Jerome Miles and offensive lineman Isendre Afua will miss the 2025 season. Mike Elko confirming the 5-star wideout Miles and the second-year offensive lineman, both out with what are being described as lower leg injuries. Elko noted Miles did require surgery but did not report anything else on Afua's status. Offensive tackle Ruben Fothery will miss also at least the first few games with a lower leg injury. So some injury concerns there in College Station.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Josh Heupel has updated Boo Carter's status for the opener against Syracuse. He does anticipate that Carter will play against Syracuse on Saturday in Atlanta. Didn't say exactly the role, said he'd have to earn a job. Carter started 5 games at the star position last year as a true freshman. He's made a lot of progress to return into good standing with the Vols. He was away from the team for more than a week last month. He did participate in the early portion of practice and was gone, but now he's back. 5th-year senior Jalen McMurray, who was primarily a cornerback a year ago, he's worked with the first-team defense in that star position, but Boo Carter is expected to be available in some capacity for Tennessee against Syracuse.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And Alabama and West Virginia have mutually agreed to cancel their home-and-home series that had been scheduled for 2026 and 2027. The joint announcement came earlier on Tuesday. Bama said it's making adjustments to its non-conference schedule and announced in response to last week's announcement from the SEC that they're going from 8 to 9 league games. So Bama will play East Carolina, South Florida, and Florida State in the non-conference next year. So, of course, each team is going to have to drop one of its scheduled non-conference games for 2026. Bama is dropping West Virginia. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Oh, yeah. You want farm equipment, tractors, combines. They got all that for you. They also got zero-turn mowers. They got gators. They got you covered. And tailgate season's around the bend. You need that generator, that power supply, the space heaters, the fans for your tailgate. SunEquip.com, SunEquip.com, or get by your local Sunshine dealer, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. We will knock out, quick break, come back, wrap up hour number 1. And in 16 minutes, right at the start of hour number 2, I do want to delve into the Saints' 53-man roster. If you missed it, Isaiah Foskey, Jake Haener among those cut by the New Orleans Saints, and a couple of other surprises that we'll delve into here as we start hour number 2. But we'll wrap up the first hour next on AFR.
AFR.
Thinking of building a pool? Matt, it's August, almost September. Pool season's basically over by the time they finish my pool. Right. But you want to get it done before the holidays, don't you? Well, this is the time to do it. A lot of people think, I'll wait and break ground in December. Well, then you're going to have a construction site in your backyard during the holidays. Do you want that? No. Start now. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Of course, the great supporters of the Tigers as well. Derek's done some awesome NIL deals recently. Can't wait to tell you more about and show you more of some of what we've been working on with guys like Lamar Brown and Bryston Martinez and Richard Anderson, all Duplessis Builders athletes. So if for nothing else, for no other reason, aside from the fact that they build beautiful pools, they do it with structural integrity. They offer a 10-year workmanship warranty. Duplessis, voted by Pool & Spa the number 26 pool builder in America. They also support the Tigers with 3 more NIL deals with future Tigers right now. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown.
parishbuilt.com. There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She thinks my tractor's sexy.
No, Muse. No, Muse. Got to give me the other song. You got to do it. Give me the other song.
I mean, yeah, but
give me the other song. Give me the other song. It's appropriate at this point. The gigantic news of the day. Every football fan is so excited to hear. Taylor Swift. Travis Kelce.
Oh,
dating no more.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was going to say they broke up.
No.
What do you mean?
They didn't break up.
They're not dating.
No, they're not dating anymore. They're betrothed.
They got married?
They're betrothed.
Oh.
Man, you can sure kill a bit. You don't know what betrothed means? Betrothed.
Yeah, it means engaged. I know that. I was...
Clearly you didn't know that.
I was trying to play up the bit a little bit more.
Saw the news earlier today. Texted it over to Erica. Nobody happier in the world today than Erica Lee Keller Moscona.
I was about to say, and she responded, duh, I knew that like 10 minutes ago.
No, I broke the news to her.
Really?
Bro.
E-Rock.
I mean...
you were the Swiftie. I mean, come on, E-Rock.
She's also at work where she's, probably, helping kids with their feelings or reading, standard or reading or verbal tests, oral tests to kids that, that get extra time. Whatever. She's the counselor at the school. So anyway, I texted her the link, and I got back like exclamations and like crying emojis. It's like she thinks her best friend's getting married. It's a weird, this Taylor Swift thing, I tell you what, that everybody is so into. I'll look at that. Call her. Let's call her and give me a better Taylor Swift song in the meantime. I don't. Do you like this one?
I do like this. Like, if I had to pick a Taylor Swift song that I liked, I would actually pick this one. Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh God.
It's very appropriate. I mean, they're betrothed.
Call my wife, please, and give me my song that I like way better. Because I do. There's one I listen to with Drew every day. Yes. Erica has completely contaminated the mind of my 11-year-old. Every morning when I wake Drew up and I'm getting him dressed for school. I mean, like waking him up, sleep out of his eyes. He walks into the den where, I help him get ready for school. And he says, "Bad blood, please. Bad blood." So we have to listen to Bad Blood by Taylor Swift every day. And then we listen to 22. And if we have time after Bad Blood and 22, then we listen to Cruel Summer. Oh, we have Erica on the line? Okay. Queen Swiftie here. My wife, Erica. All right, who broke the news to you today?
Well, you don't want me to say, but it was a tie.
It was not a tie.
It was a tie.
Somebody came in your notification. Like if you do the swipe down on your phone and there's a notification, somebody was first, somebody was second.
I hate to tell you who's the name, but it was at the same time.
It literally had to be within seconds. And I could kick myself because I saw it and then I probably waited another minute before I sent it to you. I'm like, I should have just sent it right away.
Yeah,
anyway.
And she's as bad as you because she's like, I sent it to you first. I'm like, well, you and Matt are having a competition now of who sent it first.
I think you're just lying right now to make her feel better.
Receipt.
All right, what's your reaction? I'm excited for them to get married because the divorce is going to be the divorce album is going to be epic. When they get divorced, and then she writes the divorce album, that's going to be.
You're doing this for a bit right now, and I'm not going to fall for it at all.
What do you mean?
Well, because you're just doing this. I know you don't really think that or feel that way.
I'm sorry. Don't I tell you that all the time?
Yeah, but now you just said now. Of course, you're going to do that. Don't.
By the way,
this moment.
where did they get in? What oasis are they standing in?
I don't know, but you know what it's very reminiscent of is like the Lover set, which I'll show you the comparisons photos later. I have screenshots.
The Lover set. You want to explain what that is to everybody who has no idea what the hell you're talking about?
Her album Lover, and it's just one of my favorite albums. So it is like a scene from one of the sets of Lover, one of the videos, and it's it's very reminiscent. Like, he had his people basically recreate that, which is just beautiful.
He had his people recreate
I can't
it.
believe you called me for this because I'm just making your audience mad now and they're not going to like me. So.
Nah, who cares
Yes,
what
that's
they
very
think?
true. I care.
I ain't worried about them, Erica. Well, it's just you and me having a conversation here about whenever they get divorced.
They're not
So
getting divorced.
how much of a
My phone's been blowing up all day, though. I'll have to tell you after the news broke.
this bit about their relationship? I mean, taking it to this stage,
I mean,
to where
yeah.
he's proposing.
If
I mean,
anybody watched the New Heights podcast, they'll see that they are truly in love, and this is just.
how could you get that from the New Heights podcast?
Because it's so authentic and so genuine and so real. Yes. It is.
I don't know.
And I think that it's just making a lot of sports people mad. This is what's going to happen is all the,
By the
as
way,
they call them, the Brads and Chads and all them are getting all mad again.
Brad's in the chats. Did you see the article I sent you from LouisianaSports.net?
Yeah, I saw. She's front runner for Super Bowl. I just asked you when we're getting how we can get tickets.
I might be there actually. So
I will too.
The halftime the betting odds for the halftime show, we got them up at LouisianaSports.net. Taylor Swift, even money.
Yeah.
Followed by something called Dua Lipa, then Sabrina Carpenter, Mariah Carey, Miley Cyrus, Oasis, Billie Eilish, Charlie XCX. What is that? Jay-Z, Metallica?
Nobody wants to see them.
I'd love to see Metallica. I think that'd be awesome. Christina Aguilera, Ed Sheeran, no doubt. Bad Bunny, Cardi B, Chappell Roan.
That's the order.
Roan. Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, Luke McCombs, Morgan Wallen, Post Malone, Drake, Teddy Swims, Doechii, D-O-E-C-H-I, Doechii. Green Day, Linkin Park, Olivia Rodrigo, Adele, BTS. What's BTS? Backstreet Boys?
No,
Back
it's
to the
a
street?
boy band.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Me?
AFR.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. She walked right into the heart. Me? You're hanging up on? Yes, I'm hanging up on you. Go to Shawbills Tire and Auto Service locations all over South Louisiana. Remember, they got their kickoff special going on right now at Shawbills. Buddy Martin texted me last week talking about it. A new special just for the rest of this month. So you get 5 days, really just to the end of this week, because they're not open on weekends. So through the end of August, Michelin Toyo only. Buy 3, get the 4th tire free when you use your new or existing Shawbills credit card. Or buy 3, get the 4th tire half off with any other form of payment. This is not a gimmick. It's not inflated pricing where they give you the quote-unquote discount to get back to the regular price. It's just a great deal from our friends over at Shawbills. ShawbillsTire.com. ShawbillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
It's not just a game. It's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. From a fifth-round pick in the NFL draft to making the 53-man roster for Shedeur Sanders. The rookie will be one of three quarterbacks the Browns enter the season with, along with starter Joe Flacco and fellow rookie Dylan Gabriel. Gabriel will back up Flacco. The Saints named quarterback Spencer Rattler their starter. 9 days before the NFL season kicks off, still no resolution in the contract standoff between the Cowboys and edge rusher Micah Parsons. No talks between the sides, no practice for Parsons amid a hold-in. Despite all that, quarterback Dak Prescott is still confident Parsons will be available on September 4th. If he does play, one thing is guaranteed, courtesy of new Eagles OC Kevin Patullo, predicts ESPN NFL insider Mike Tannenbaum.
I promise you, on his whiteboard is test the conditioning of number 11, meaning if Micah Parsons does play, I promise you they will go no huddle and see what kind of shape he's in.
Colorado named Caden Salter their starting quarterback ahead of Friday's opener against Georgia Tech. The Mets are calling up top pitching prospect Jonah Tong. He'll make his big league debut Friday against Miami.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You suck. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shay Dixon here in about 15 minutes from right now. We will talk to Scott Shanley next hour. We had Johnny Avello of the DraftKings Sportsbook talking some LSU-Clemson last hour, so we just moved Shay an hour from his normal slot. We appreciate him for being flexible. So at 3 o'clock Central Time here on Tuesday, every NFL team had to cut their roster from 90 to 53. And now we're starting to get the word of what those 53 are, and maybe importantly, some of the players that were released that did not make the team, at least initially anyway. I'll hit some of the high points to start because some of the ones that maybe felt obvious or are the more noteworthy players we'll talk about. Obviously, we'll start with Isaiah Foskey. Just a massively disappointing time in New Orleans. He was a second-round pick back in 2023, and he just never made an impact. At points at the beginning of his career, he was a healthy scratch. Last year he played, barely made an impact. We saw him this preseason, in the first preseason game, take nearly every defensive snap without recording a statistic. He's a guy that was Notre Dame's career leader in sacks, the all-time leader in sacks at a place like Notre Dame, and just could not find a way to be an impactful player on this team. I know there are some people who are cracking jokes, although it might be layered with some degree of truth, when you look at a guy like Zach Bond, who was a third-round pick, could never find his way in New Orleans, goes to Philadelphia, and was a finalist for the NFL Defensive Player of the Year last season. It just took the right team to know how to use him. But this is now across two different head coaches and two different defensive coordinators, from Dennis Allen, who, of course, was the head coach, but also the defensive coordinator, and now Brandon Staley and Foskey just couldn't make an impact. So it's a total waste of a second-round pick when you count on second-round picks to be starters. In this league, Eric McCoy was a second-round pick. Marcus Williams, second-round pick. Roman Harper back in the day was a second-round pick. Michael Thomas, second-round pick. You count on second-round picks to be starters. Von Bell was a second-round pick. You count on those guys to be starters on your team. And you drafted Isaiah Foskey, and is a total bust, an absolute waste of a top 50 pick in the NFL draft. So Isaiah Foskey, an atrocious 2 seasons in New Orleans, and now, after just 2 seasons, is cut before his 3rd season in the NFL. Jake Haener is the other interesting one who was waived. Not necessarily a surprise from the sense that nobody thought Jake Haener was going to win the job, but Haener was a 4th-round pick, and the Saints walked this road a few years back with Ian Book, where going into his 2nd year as a 4th-round pick, they waived Ian Book, but he was claimed by the Philadelphia Eagles off of waivers. If you're not familiar, when you go on waivers, any team in the NFL can put in a waiver claim for that player. And if they put in a waiver claim, the team who had the worst record a season ago is awarded the player. So it goes 1 to 32 with, or I guess the 31 other teams, with priority. But if a player clears waivers, and by the way, you have to sign that player to the active roster. So if someone were to pick up Jake Haener, they would have to sign him to their active roster, meaning he would take a spot on their 53. That's unlikely to happen. So what could very well happen here is Haener was waived. He will very likely clear waivers and then be signed back to the New Orleans Saints practice squad. Kellen Moore met with reporters on Tuesday and talked about the decision to cut Jake Haener.
The third quarterback spot's a tricky spot, and I got firsthand experience with this third QB position. I've kind of lived that world a little bit. A couple other roster spots, you're always trying to keep 3 in a perfect world, but sometimes you get a little bit short in some other spots that you just need to address. And so, that's the challenging aspect of this. Obviously Jake has to go through a process now from a claims perspective and all that sort of stuff, but obviously we still think he's got a really good path for us, a really good developmental opportunity here. I think the world of Jake. I've known Jake for a really long time, and so we'll see how that all goes for him on a personal level, and hopefully we'll see it, if the opportunity presents itself for him to get back here.
So they didn't slam the door there, but when you're counting 53 roster spots, every spot is valuable. You have to consider that, and they're doing that here. We'll see if Jake Haener does end up back. The other sort of consequential news for the New Orleans Saints on Tuesday was not a waiver claim, it was a trade. Just days after the Saints traded for wide receiver Devon Vele, sending 2 future picks, a 4 and a 7, to Denver for Devon Vele, the New Orleans Saints have made another trade. The Saints traded for Cowboys offensive lineman Asim Richards. We know Will Clapp has gone to IR with injury. Nick Saldiveri, another backup interior offensive lineman, injured. Landon Young also headed to IR. His season is over. So the Saints' offensive line depth took a beating, and instead of scouring the waiver wire or free agency, the Saints said, I know what we'll do. We'll just get rid of some future draft assets, because that's Gum Smack and Mix MO. Don't get me started. Or get me started, because he deserves to be annihilated for this. The Saints are sending they're sending 2 future picks a 6th and a 7th to Dallas for Asim Richards. Here was Kellen Moore on the trade.
We obviously have some connections there with a couple of coaches who were in Dallas, and so there's a awesome opportunity just to get some depth in the offense line. We've navigated this thing a little bit just because of the amount of injuries that have gone in there. He's played a lot of snaps. He's a 2023 draft pick, so he's still young in that sense, and so we feel like we got a really good developmental piece that, if called upon, he's ready to roll and he's ready to go play and contribute. And so there's a lot of thumbs up and pluses as everyone went through the evaluation process.
So Asim Richards, who was a 5th-round pick in the 2023 draft, as you heard Kellen Moore say there, has played in 21 career games in 2 seasons with Dallas, 1 start. So he's a backup. And the Saints now gave up 2 more draft picks, both 2028 picks. They gave up a 6th and a 7th round 2028 pick for Asim Richards. You wonder how and why the New Orleans Saints continue down the path they're in. This is why. Because you have Mickey Loomis treating his draft picks like monopoly money. It doesn't matter. Send him a few. We'll put a hotel on Park Place. Or in this case, I don't even know a Monopoly analogy because I haven't played Monopoly probably in 30 years. You're putting a hotel on a shanty. Whatever. What's the crappiest spot on the board? You know those first 3 spots on the board in Monopoly, whichever one of those is? You're putting a hotel right there. It's not going to net you anything. Giving up 2 draft picks for a backup offensive lineman feels like you were dramatically overspending when there are undeniably going to be linemen of Richards's caliber that hit the waiver wire, that hit free agency, or at least are comparable, that wouldn't cost you 2 future draft picks. And before you poo-poo 6th and 7th round selections, do you need me to run through the list of 6th and 7th round picks and UDFAs that actually become contributing players? You can't hit on those picks if you don't make the picks. And the Saints continue to do stupid crap like this because Gumsmack and Mick's the worst GM in the NFL. And he is running this organization into the ground. And hopefully Gail Benson recognizes that sooner than later and fires him or moves him into some emeritus role where they allow him to stay in the organization and cut a check, but let someone who's actually competent do this job because Mickey Loomis is no longer capable. I don't know that he ever was. I'll say this. Isn't it becoming clearer and clearer the further removed we are from Sean Payton, who the actual drum major was, who the guy was that was calling the shots and was making all the decisions, the one responsible for the success? For all that everybody was like hand-waving Sean Payton when he left, y'all ready for Sean Payton to leave? Go to Denver. Get out of here. Okay, it's time. It's time to move on. We're in something new. Oh, really? What if we took a poll today of Saints fans? Would you take Sean Payton back today? Let's do that poll. Would you take Sean Payton back today? Yes or no? Saints fans, would you take Sean Payton back today? Yes or no? We'll put the poll up on Twitter. You can email me, tweet me, or text me as well. 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Would you take Sean Payton back today? Watch those numbers pop. In any event, as you look at the rest of the roster of note, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was released, but we talked about that with Ross Jackson. That's a very likely scenario where both Velus Jones and Devin Neal made it. They were probably protecting some of their young guys from waivers. Clyde, as a vested veteran, is a free agent, so he chooses where he goes. This will very likely be a thing where Clyde re-signs the practice squad and then ultimately will be added to the active roster and will be active on game days. I fully expect that. The Saints did keep initially 6 wide receivers: Olave, Shaheed, Cooks, Tipton, Vele, and Cedric Wilson, interestingly enough. The 2 tight ends they kept, aside from Juwan Johnson, Jack Stoll, and the 7th-round pick, Maliki Mataval. Interesting that both Jacobson and Trayton Welsh were waived. We'll see if those guys can clear waivers. Torricelli Simpkins, the third, the rookie from South Carolina, has made the team. Then, of course, Asim Richards, who was acquired via trade. Defensively, Chris Rumpf, probably not a surprise there that he made the team. Fadil Diggs and Jasheen Davis were waived. It'll be interesting to see if the Saints can get those guys back on the practice squad. No doubt they'll hope to do that. I don't know that there was anything necessarily that was surprising otherwise. So we will keep an eye on it. We always say it. It's the first 53, not the final 53, because you have over 1,000 players that became free agents in one day. So you look at the waiver wire, you look at who's available in free agency, who might be able to upgrade your roster at certain positions, then you make those decisions as you move forward. But the Saints have their first 53 set, and as that evolves, we'll continue to talk about it right here. Okay, we're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. That's me and Tilly and Terrio and Joe Morales, our whole staff over at Parish Construction and Roofing. Repairs, replacements, residential, commercial. I want to remind you always, we can help you finance your roof. If it's not an insurance-approved roof and you're paying cash, we can help you finance that. If it is an insurance-approved roof and you need help with your deductible, we can help you finance your deductible. Listen, we're going to work with you to hold your hand through the entire process from that first call. Most of us will replace our roof once or twice in our lifetime. It's not something we're familiar with. It's not like going to the grocery store. It's not even like buying a car, which a lot of us do often throughout our lives. We're experts at it. We got a team full of people who do this every single day. We'd love to help you. It's Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Fill out the form on the homepage, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Scott Shanley in 1 hour. We'll talk some more Who Dat. Shea Dixon when we come back. A little recruiting talk that we do every Tuesday. Just bumping Shea back an hour, just flipping he and Johnny Avello today, who was here in hour number 1. Shea Dixon's here next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds and remind you about our friends over at Action Industries. Innovation in action since 1982, servicing the petrochemical refinery markets of plants up and down the river. You know very well, if you work in any of those sectors, that you don't get hired to do work inside the fence without an exceptional safety record, and that is something that Action Industries prides themselves on and has for 4 decades now. Their safety record beats the industry standard. They've received commendations for their safety record. That's number one, first and foremost, and they check that box emphatically every day at Action Industries. And also, the Advanced Turnaround Group. The Advanced Turnaround Group is a subsidiary of Action Industries. It is the same great company. It's just its own separate wing with a set of resources dedicated specifically to turnaround work. Need to bid your turnaround? You want the Advanced Turnaround Group, a subsidiary of Action Industries, innovation in action.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The First time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Game week for the Tigers. Recruiting never stops. Shea Dixon on 3, Rivals. Good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes as he does every Tuesday. Shady, thanks for being flexible, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
Doing awesome. When last we spoke, we were waiting on the Darius Gray news. He picked South Carolina. I think that was expected. Any reaction or where the Tigers might go if they're still looking to fill that spot with an offensive lineman?
Nothing yet. Anything like that. I think the plan was always they have 4 linemen committed. We've talked about it before. They have someone who you raved about as well last week, the top 10 offensive tackle here in Louisiana, and Bryson Martinez. They have the 2 highest-rated O-line player prospects, seniors out of Mississippi committed. One's a tackle, one's a guard, and then they've got a 4th O-lineman committed out of Mississippi who can play on the interior in Jalen Chapman. So with the portal, 4 guys out of high school, so you would normally sign 4 or 5 high school guys anyhow. We'll see if they don't end up pushing or flipping for somebody later on. But Darius Gray was who they had their eyes on, and ultimately he did what we figured he would probably do, which was stay home and play for South Carolina. And I was talking to the guy who runs South Carolina side out there, and they said, hey, look, I'm sure y'all can relate, but this is that LSU kid that, the South Carolina staff started recruiting when he was in 7th grade. So I think relationships, distance, all of that. The pitch to be the marquee guy in the class ultimately was enough to keep Darius Gray at South Carolina.
So Darius Gray picks South Carolina. Shay, hang on one second. I'm having trouble hearing Shay there. It kind of sounds like he's underwater a little bit. I don't know what's going on with the phones today, but Muse is going to see if we can get Shay in a better spot right there. One of the other things I want to do with Shay is I want to talk, first of all, obviously about the recruiting calendar with the dead period set to end at the start of September, and LSU obviously will have a home game next week. And then Austin Thomas met with reporters last week as well. Since Shay and I last talked, I want to delve into that. All right, we got Shay back. Shay, appreciate it, man. One of the things we've also talked a good bit about here is the recruiting calendar. It's sort of like 2-month-long dead period, which is set to end there next week, at the start of September. How does this week, or is this week, with it being game week for LSU, impactful at all in recruiting?
Sorry, I thought I could multitask and scuba dive and do the interview at the same time.
Well, this sounds much clearer. Thank you for coming above water.
Repeat the exact. I was still scuba diving. What did you say at the very end? How it could impact recruiting?
Yeah, I'm just curious. So, game weeks always feel like they're very significant for recruiting. LSU's on the road this week. It's still a dead period. Is this a significant recruiting week for LSU?
This is one of those, but kids run out. When you do the neutral site games, nobody can go, right? And they don't cross, paths with Clemson a lot on the trails. So I have found in these season openers that every kid that they're recruiting and guys, who maybe they even aren't, are watching this game. It's the primetime game on Saturday night. So win or loss, preferably win, but you go out there, you put on a show, and we always have that Recruit Your Act piece on Sunday, but you get a feel for, hey, look, me and my family, we're all on the couch watching it. Me and my high school teammates were watching it, glued in, and look, if you put up big numbers on offense, or you got some receivers going off, or Harold Perkins is going crazy, that catches the attention of guys. So, quite often we talk about game day visits and being around the staff and the stadium and all of that. These openers, especially for LSU, what it can be about is, hey, look, everybody was watching, and if they see you go out and get a win, it makes quite a statement, and that in turn leads to, hey, I want to come visit and everything like that.
Jay, last week Austin Thomas met with reporters. Unfortunately, it was while I was on air. I couldn't be there. I know you were there. And Austin's taking on this GM role, and this is his third stint now at LSU, as everyone knows. What, if anything, did you find to be maybe of particular importance that Austin discussed a week ago?
I mean, look, you've talked about it so much on your show, and we know kind of stuff that doesn't get said out loud, but the difference from where they were, and we're talking NIL, and now we're talking rev share, right? The combination of both. Where LSU was, the preparations for it, all of that, before he got here, and then to now, which, he was with Ole Miss, the Rebel Grove Collective had taken off, now being back at LSU, there's the nitty-gritty, Matt, that people just don't think about. Like that, look, you could start a season, and there's teams out there that probably haven't paid every kid on the roster what they owe them, or an NIL deal hasn't come through yet, or whatever it might be. They've handled all that kind of stuff. And I think for me, and I'll let you chime in, and we can back and forth however you want, but saying that we talked about he and Scott Woodward, the AD, went to Seattle Seahawks, and a lot of it's kind of NFL-based. If you have rev share and I give you $200, Matt, how are you going to break it up among your team? Well, you're going to probably give the most to your quarterback, your D-end, your left tackle. You're exactly how the NFL views it is kind of how they've built it, because you've got not everybody's getting the exact same, and certainly NIL-wise, not everyone's getting the exact same, and you've got to write all that out and pitch it to them. And I think that's important, but most people would have guessed, hey, look, if you're a smart team, you're going to do that. Them planning 18 months ahead of time for rev share and then operating under rev share when it didn't even exist yet, just to be ready for it, I thought was key, because so many teams kind of waited around. And if you'll remember, it was supposed to be passed on one day, and it was like a week delay, 2 weeks delay, 3 weeks delay, 4 weeks delay. And he said, look, there was some risk in this, but he felt it was minimal, and ultimately it got passed. And he mentioned it. Look, he said everything that we had in place for every player just rolled over. We didn't have to do anything there. And then just from talking to sources, long before fall camp even began, weeks before, they had everything done. So when you can put all of that on the back burner and then say, let's focus on football, that's massive. And I think it comes with something he repeated with just about every question is honesty in the homes, and telling kids and parents and agents, this is what we can do, and then you deliver on it, because that's just not the case everywhere.
The other thing I thought was interesting, and that is true, and Austin wouldn't disclose a number, but then later that very day on Thursday, Brian Kelly disclosed the $18 million. By the way, as best you know, or do you know how accurate that number is?
I wouldn't. I mean, I'd have to take him at his word. I think it's around. I mean, I wouldn't think he'd lie about it, and it would come out if it were different. So I bet it's around that number. But I'll also tell you that from reading around, there's other Texas teams like that are north of that, right? I mean, he joked about it being nowhere near an NFL salary, but there's teams out Ohio State that are operating not double it maybe, but close to it. And I'm not saying that they're going to be better for it, this year in the future, but, you talk of front loading and all of these different things. I think LSU, I'll say this, feels comfortable with where they're at relative to how they spread the money across the roster, and then not getting stuck in situations where you might have given it all to a handful of guys, and what if it doesn't work out type thing. So the balance of it all, I thought, was kind of key.
It's like we talked about Lamar Brown, for example, Shay. I think the thing that's very obvious is LSU can't beat Oregon and outbid Oregon for every player. But they can handpick a couple of players and go all in on those players and be as competitive as anyone. And I think you're seeing that and that's a huge part of what Austin is doing. The other thing that I would love I know because you asked Austin this question, it was about the support staff that Austin's brought in. Jeff Martin, Kelvin Bolden, Sam Petito. And Austin said they went from basically 6 to 3 now doing the job of those 6. As best you know about what those 3 specifically do, how is LSU going to operate at more efficiency with fewer people?
Well, I think when you can condense 6 different positions into 3, you're doing it with the understanding, with the goal of being more efficient, which means bring in experienced people, and all 3 of them fit that bill. And, it's the old, are there too many cooks in the kitchen thing? Like, if you've got a leaner front office type built around an NFL model, and they all are on the same page with, this is where the college game is going. This is the relationships we have. This is what we need to sort of define very clearly to recruits and to current players and the portal guys he brought up PowerPoints at one point. He brought up the matrix is what it's called of how they operate it. But in a money world right now, if you're giving them data-driven stuff where it can help you reach a decision in addition to the pitch of football and everything else, then you're probably a lot more organized than you were with 6 people and without much of a defined role for everybody.
Shay, before you get out of here, of course, next week will be the first home game. Any other names out there? I know we talked about LSU maybe trying to flip a running back. Any names maybe that LSU is still targeting that we need to have in the forefront of our minds here as the football season begins for the 26 class?
Yeah, these kids who are seniors, and then they'll sign in December. I did a flip watch story today, and KJ Edwards is that running back still. He's going to make a visit to LSU. He's a top 5 running back in the country, and he committed to A&M, but LSU was the second team in it. They were ahead of Texas, and they took the same approach he did with Caden Durham, where it was kind of like, hey, you're our guy. They got Caden Durham. We'll see if they can ultimately flip KJ Edwards out of Texas, coming out of Carthage. And then, what's his name? He's the number 2 safety in the country. He goes to a school here in town. His brother's on the football team. Blaine Bradford, committed to Iowa State. But I've said it before. He committed in March. We thought he was going to take all these official visits and then decide. So he'll be around watching Jacob play. They're going to recruit him all the way to signing day, and we'll see where the chips fall there. But they aren't going to let up. And the other spots, tight end, I think they would like to add a high school tight end. I'll tell you what, the one they got next year, Mod Hudson from North Louisiana out of Ruston, is a freak. But let's see who they take this cycle. And then I label it the mystery quarterback, because there's buzz behind the scenes that they pivoted after Bo Bentley. They've got a guy in mind, and that we could potentially hear of a flip, during the season. So all eyes on that one for me. I think quarterback draws a lot of attention, considering you didn't sign a high school quarterback last cycle.
He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon, on 3 the Bengal Tiger. You can read him there. Be sure you follow along. He's with us every Tuesday. Shea, we always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I just put my seatbelt on and my knife away, my sword away.
You just sorted you a seatbelt. I mean, it's a seatbelt. It's a seatbelt, right? It's a seatbelt.
It's a seatbelt.
You got to keep up, Shay. That's what Brian Kelly told us. You got to keep up. There's new things now that they do.
We had some fun with it.
Thank you, Shay. We appreciate it.
All right. Bye, Matt.
See ya. That's Shea Dixon on 3 the Bengal Tiger. At Brian Kelly, I was sitting next to Shay yesterday at the press conference, and Brian Kelly was talking about veteran defense. Actually, this is actually the thing I want to talk about in the next segment. So let me break. I'll come back and explain. If you missed it, I'll explain what we're talking about there, because I do want to talk about LSU's transfer defensive backs. It's next on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Glow Resources, GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions. That's Jareth Knockan and the team over at Glow Resources. And while they've grown to be a gigantic business, they're, the Business Report's top 100 private businesses in Baton Rouge, and they've continued to grow. New Orleans, Miami, Orlando, Houston, office in Mississippi, and they serve businesses all over the world, quite literally. They're still committed to home base. Their corporate headquarters, Perkins Road in Baton Rouge next to Pennington, right there on Quail Oak. If you're driving Perkins, you can't miss it. Gorgeous corporate headquarters. And they're committed to serving businesses in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. So if you're a business owner, and you're looking to maximize efficiency with the right people, let Glow Resources help. GLO. It's glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions. glowresources.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item. We prominently feature it in social media, on our website.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
My tractor sexy.
This is a very talented football team on both sides of the ball. You know, similar to us in a lot of ways, you know, in that they've got elite quarterback play, elite skill, and they got dudes in the trenches on both sides. So it's a very similar team as far as, you know, just the makeup. So
Dabo talking about the similarities between LSU and Clemson. Dabo met with reporters here on Tuesday, Brian Kelly on Monday. I want to dive into what he was talking about with the DBs. Love telling you about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, you know where to go. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, been servicing Baton Rouge and beyond for 4 decades, where all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged. Here as we move into the fall, a lot of you might be planning to pop the question around the holidays. Maybe you're right there alongside Travis and Tay. What do we call it? Are we calling him Tavis? Kel Swift? Do they have a combo name, the two of them? Travis
I have no idea. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no idea.
Tavis?
That sounds the best.
How about Trailer? Travis and Taylor, Trailer?
I like Trailer. I think that's funny.
Let's go with Trailer.
All right, Trailer.
Anyway, if you're thinking of popping the question, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com. You don't think Travis put a lab diamond on Taylor's hand, do you? Come on. All natural diamonds from the finest minds in the world. That's what you'll find at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. I think the two biggest questions we all have about LSU this year is, number one, is the offensive line going to be better? 5 new starters. Tons of experience, tons of talent, tons of depth. They just haven't played together. That's one. 2, how much better will the defense be? As a matter of fact, Brian Kelly on Monday was asked point blank, 17, how much better this defense will be this year.
I just think there's a lot of confidence back there. How do you measure confidence? It's just the way they handle themselves, the way they play. They believe in themselves. There's a trust factor that they're going to go make a play. Confidence comes from playing the game, right? A lot of those guys that are back there now have played a lot of football. They're experienced players. And when you bring that experience forward, things like confidence come out, high competitive drive. Look, we got to put it all together. That's why there's great anticipation going into Saturday. But I think I have a trained eye as to what I'm looking at. And what I see more than anything else is a group that's very confident.
You added A.J. Halsey, who's played in 36 games. You've added Tamarcus Cooley, who was a starter last year at NC State. You've added Mansour Delane, who's a 2-year starter at Virginia Tech. It's the thing we keep going through with this defense is you've got a lot of guys that are new, but you've got a ton of experience. It's as Dabo was talking, meeting with reporters and talking about the similarities with LSU and Clemson, which are true. Veteran quarterbacks, high-powered offenses, tons of talent on the defensive side. The difference between the two is how they've gone about doing it. Clemson returns 16 starters, the most returning production in the country. LSU has tons of production. It's just guys that produced at other places. Patrick Payton, Jack Pyburn, Mansour Delane, A.J. Halsey, Tamarcus Cooley, all over the field. And that's just on the defensive side of the ball. So, I will say that, when Kelly was talking about the defensive backs, and in particular it's safety with Halsey and Cooley, and they've gotten a lot of the conversation, and rightfully so. Because anybody with 2 eyes and a pulse that watched the defense a year ago recognized how poor the safety play was. And it's not to call out any college athlete or to make light of anyone or to scapegoat anyone. It's just to say you were very bad at that position, whatever metric you want to look at. If it's the yardstick that you gave up, if it's the Pro Football Focus grades, if it's the fact that you had guys that were starting last year that have both one transferred to another. Sage Ryan's now at Ole Miss. Jordan Gilbert's now kind of running 3rd team safety and 2nd at star behind Perkins. That's the fact that circumstantial, the fact that you went and signed 2 safeties in the portal is an illustration of how much of a need there was. And this was the point where Brian Kelly was asked about, A.J. Halsey and Tamarcus Cooley and Mansour Delane, these veteran defensive backs, and how you can tell and notice their maturity, their comfort, their confidence. This is a soundbite that a lot of us have kind of laughed at a bit because Brian Kelly makes reference to he says you put a sword in the sheath. You start with the seatbelt celebration. You see a lot of defensive backs do when there's an incomplete. They'll get up and they'll do the thing across their body. That's like putting a seatbelt on. You got them locked down. That's what that signifies. He said you put a sword. I don't think they're putting a sword. I think it's the seatbelt is the celebration. But that's what he's referencing when he says this.
They have practiced. They have competed in the manner that we thought that they would. They attack every practice. They're our hardest workers. That, in my experience, has proven to be the differentiator between those guys that haven't played a lot of football and have. They show it in practice, too. They play with a swagger. They make plays in practice, and they're not doing the sword thing and, all that stuff. They're like, next play. And to me, those little nuances show I'm confident. It's kind of like the old adage, you hear it all the time. You get in the end zone, give the ball to the official that you expect to be there again. And so I see a lot of that on the field.
He would go on at the end of that soundbite, and he says, I'm not trying to be the old guy. I want him to have fun. But there is something to be said there when you make a play and you're just on to the next. It's not get up and celebrate. And some of that is just maturity and having been there. So that's what he was talking about. And listen, there's a degree of comfort and confidence there. A.J. Halsey, as a freshman at New Mexico, was playing a game in Baton Rouge against Tiger Stadium, making tackles on Jaden Daniels the year Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. You know what I mean? Like, there's some of that. Or forgive me, that was 2022. There's Jaden's first year in Baton Rouge when New Mexico played in Baton Rouge. Tamarcus Cooley last year was playing Clemson at Clemson. Mansour Delane was playing last year against Clemson when he was at Virginia Tech. There is a comfort and familiarity with all of these guys who have played a lot, even your own guys. Ashton Stamps is now a 3-year contributor starter at LSU. Your depth at safety. A guy like Deshaun Spears, who's a 5-star, who went through the fire last year as a freshman. And Javen Toviano, who's really a very talented, physically gifted player who's growing up, came from one of those football factory type schools in Texas that's growing up into it as well. And now they're not called on to be impact starters for you, but to provide depth in a rotation for you. That's the biggest thing, experience and depth. It's just got these guys playing together for the first time. It's a similar question to the offensive line. It's my singular hesitation with this team, not long-term, because I think once we talk about getting into October, November, December, they're going to be awesome. My only question is August the 30th, when they play for the first time ever together, and it's on the road against a great opponent, how quickly can they assimilate against a team that's played a ton of football together? That's my one big question for this team. And we're going to start getting answers really quickly, but Brian Kelly's been around a long time and says they knew what they were looking for in these transfers. They got plenty of them. And it's guys that seem to have worked together pretty quickly. When I ask staff members candidly off the record about this, they all kind of say independent of each other the same thing. Like, the leadership, the mentality on this team is outstanding. The best players are the hardest workers. There's great player leadership. The guys like each other. Now, a great question is what happens when you face adversity? What happens when you lose for the first time? Because they're going to lose. What happens when you lose for the first time? What happens when you give up the big touchdown? How quickly do you respond? Those are the types of things we all find out when they tee it up, kick it off, start playing. And they'll start to do that on Saturday. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, of course, championship healthcare for LSU athletics and for you and me. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, as they're fond of saying. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU together, we roar. Championship health partner of LSU athletics. And Our Lady of the Lake is committing almost $250 million into facilities in their service area. Not only in Baton Rouge, but all in Louisiana and Mississippi. Multi-state health system, part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. And they continue to expand health care to make sure that access and convenience is available for everyone. Whether it's heart health, cancer, stroke, pediatrics, sports medicine, they do it all. We've continued to told you about Our Lady of the Lake, their partnership with LSU, going through the process of the naming rights of the new basketball arena, which I'm so excited for. What a great statement for them to continue to interweave their message, their relationship with LSU and all of Baton Rouge and all of Louisiana. And it's not just that arena, but there's going to be, as EJ and Ryan told us sitting in our studio a couple of weeks ago, a new medical complex built around that arena as well. What an amazing resource that's going to be, not just for Baton Rouge, but for all of our region. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Learn more at ololrmc.com/LSU. ololrmc.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here on a Tuesday show powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We do have a lot to get to in hour 3. Scott Shanley will be here in about 30 minutes from right now. Get his take on the roster cuts today, the decision that the Saints announced earlier that Spencer Rattler is the starting quarterback. Always appreciate when we have the former Super Bowl champ Scott Shanley on. We'll also do that again in about 30 minutes from right now. We'll knock out a quick break. We will do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2. That's next here on AFR.
After further review.
93 degrees. The little icon on my computer says hot days ahead. Awesome. Doesn't matter that it's September. It's still hot. I'll remind you, one of the hottest games in the history of Tiger Stadium was LSU and Auburn in 2017. That was in October. It's hot. It ain't done being hot around here. So if your AC goes out, River City's 1 Hour Air can help. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001. Remember, when their technician comes to the house, they're not going to try to force a service on you. They're not going to try to upsell you. They're going to go over a good, better, and best option. Like, here's what we can do just to get your unit running again. Here's something that'll last even longer, and here's like the best option for you possible. And then you get all the info and you decide what's best for you, your family, your budget, all of it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Farm and a yard full of kids, and one more teeny-weeny ride before I take her home.
Wrapping up hour number 2. We're glad you're with us here. We will talk with Brian Kelly was on the Feinbaum show yesterday. Interesting, he talked about his authenticity. You'll hear that coming up in just a smidge. Scott Shanley next hour as well. Right now, Muso as Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, let's start with cut down day in the NFL. Let's start with some great news, though. Congratulations to Josh Williams. He made the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as an undrafted free agent. Of course, played 6 years at LSU. I mean, look, we talk all the time. You're going to make an NFL roster and you're not a drafted guy, do the dirty jobs. And we know Josh Williams, he'll get in there, pass protect, play special teams. In his last preseason game, he did have 8 carries for 28 yards, which led the Bucs He also caught a pass for 3. So now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Congratulations to Josh Williams. The Tigers, who did not survive cut down day, have the list. Let's run through it quickly. They are Ty Davis-Price, Lyle Collins, Sadiq Charles, Russell Gage, Terrace Marshall, Andre Sam, Ali Gay, Mekhi Garner, Jordan Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Zy Alexander, Braden Swinson.
Wow.
Jarek Bernard Converse, and Jalen Mills as well. Jalen's getting up there in age a little bit, but those are your Tigers that did not survive. Cole Henry, rough outing against the Bombers last night. Inning, 3 earned, walked a guy, gave up a homer. Not a banner night. Huge night for Anissa Morrow. Huge night for Anissa Morrow. 18 points, 15 rebounds. How's that for a double-double? Played 26 minutes in a starting role. Her team lost, though. And then Angel Reese rounded it out for the Tigers in the WNBA. Yet another double-double for Angel. 10 points, 17 boards. She would also add 4 assists and 3 steals. And her team lost as well. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Y'all, we're getting close to Labor Day. That means it's Labor Day savings time at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland. How about 4.9% APR for 60 months on the 2025 Taos? 3.9% Labor Day savings on 2025 Tiguan. So many great deals right now at South Point Volkswagen. 2.9% on 2025 Atlas. Are you kidding me? South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Airline just north of Highland or online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? That's really surprising about Braden Swinson. He was a fifth-round pick of the New England Patriots here in this most recent draft. And I'll just give you for instance, like the New Orleans Saints kept Moliki Matavao, who was a 7th-round pick. Generally speaking, you protect your draft picks, and you're going to give them more of an opportunity. Swinson started his career at Oregon and transferred to LSU and became a very productive player. This past year he was pacing early in the season to set LSU's single-season sack record. But, this first camp there in New England with the Patriots is cut. It'll be interesting. They'll certainly have an opportunity, provided he clears waivers, to re-sign him to the practice squad and see if maybe he can earn a spot there. But definitely surprising, a little disappointing. Hour 3 coming up after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Love telling you about First South Farm Credit. Of course, your first call when you're thinking of buying land should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. FirstSouthLand.com. If you're effectively thinking of buying property, think of it like outside of the city limits. If you want 10 acres on Housatoo, maybe you're thinking of buying land in Pride or Watson, St. Francisville, Clinton, Zachary, or outside of Louisiana. First South Farm Credit can help you buy land anywhere in the lower 48. So you want the hunting property in Mississippi, they can finance your property there. Why not? If you're living down the bayou, you want to buy your hunting property in Mississippi, they have a Thibodeau office. So you can do business with people who live where you live to help you buy land anywhere in the lower 48. You want the 20 acres in St. Francisville or the 200 acres in Mississippi? First South Farm Credit can help. Go to FirstSouthLand.com. That's FirstSouthLand.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parrishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parrishbuilt.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
We came up with the idea of auctions in August. Gulf Coast Bank does all the work. We display the item, we prominently feature it in social media, on our website, but we do it because it's the right thing to do for the community.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Amid Micah Parsons' contract hold-in, Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer said he had an hour-long conversation with the star edge rusher about a variety of topics, which he will keep private. Also said he expects Parsons to play in the September 4th season opener against the Eagles. It would, though, be irresponsible of Dallas to play Parsons in that game, believes ESPN's Damian Woody.
You have to be in football shape. The only way you are in football shape is by doing football things, by being in pads, by practicing. He hasn't done any of that. This is not about one game, not about the opening game. This is about a 17-game slate that you want Michael Parsons available for.
NFL plays Texans starting safety Jimmy Ward on the commissioner's exempt list, stemming from his June arrest for alleged family violence involving his fiancée. Fifth-round pick quarterback Shedeur Sanders has made the Browns' 53-man roster. He'll be QB3 behind starter Joe Flacco and backup Dylan Gabriel. AL Cy Young contender Nathan Eovaldi likely done for the season with a strained rotator cuff. Slugger Yordan Alvarez returns from a fractured wrist for the AL West leading Astros tonight against the Rockies.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote renter's insurance at progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Scott Shanley, former St. Great, 13 minutes from right now. Shea Dixon was here last hour. Johnny Avello, the director of sportsbook operations for DraftKings, was here in hour number 1. Talked a little LSU-Clemson from the handicapping side of it. Clemson, 3.5-point favorite. Said they opened it at 3. It's gone up to 3.5. So the total has gone from 56.5 to 57.5, and wouldn't be surprised if that climbs a little further. It was interesting. If you missed the conversation, go back and check it out. But he said, basically, this was a neutral site game. This would effectively be a pick 'em. Say that Clemson, did he say Clemson gets 4 points? Didn't he say they were getting 4 points for the home field advantage, if I'm not mistaken? It was something like that.
That's what he said?
Yeah. Typically in the NFL, he said home field advantage 3 points. In this game, it's 4. So LSU might even be a slight favorite if it was a neutral site, or certainly would be favored if the game was in Baton Rouge. So just something to consider. It's one of the things I've talked about a lot with this game as we move throughout the entire offseason. If it was anything else than a true road game in the season opener. I mean, I even think back to 2019, and I don't want to be blasphemous here because I'm not saying this is 2019. I don't think we'll ever see that again. But you play Texas on the road in week 2. You had that first game against Georgia State or Georgia, one of the Georgias, the Georgia S, directional Georgia. And, Burrow threw for 5 touchdowns or whatever it was, and we all went, all right, it was pretty good. And went on the road and played a really tough game against Texas and converted 3rd and 17, and after that game, off they went. But what if that was a true road game in week 1? How different might that result have been different? I don't know. It's the thing that keeps giving me pause about this game, because I think by the time we get to the end of November, LSU will be a dramatically better team than Clemson by the time this regular season's over, and would not mind seeing a rematch somewhere down the road. Brian Kelly was a guest Monday on the Feinbaum Show. Ever since Brian Kelly took the LSU job, he's done this weekly hit on the Feinbaum Show. And I don't quite know why. And I don't mean that in any way to be a knock on Paul. I know everyone does the Powell stuff. I have tremendous professional and personal respect for Paul. He's been very kind to me over the many years that I've been covering the league and going to media days and been a guest on his show. He's come on this show. That's not a Powell thing. It's more of a, I don't know why the LSU coach feels the need to go on the Feinbaum Show every week. Clearly he has his reasons. It's fine. I think access is great. But it was interesting. They covered a lot of ground, but the one thing that maybe was the most interesting to me was, and I'll tell you why, because I had a conversation with a coworker today that sort of ties this together. But Brian Kelly was asked by Feinbaum sort of about his authenticity, and you think back to how the family thing, and you're dancing with the recruit on the spinning camera thing when he was new here, and pounding the table last year after they lost to USC. And no matter what he does, it's almost like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I on my text line yesterday, I had someone message me and say, man, Brian Kelly seems uptight, seems nervous and tight. I was like, he literally walked into the press conference and was cracking jokes about the fact that he was wearing a suit and none of us were. He pointed at me specifically. He was like, Matt, this is the best you got? I mean, I was wearing a golf shirt and jeans. It was tucked in, by the way. And I held up I was wearing Jordans. I held up my patent leather Jordans. And he's like, see, the guys would like you if you go watch it. Then he made the seatbelt interaction. Like, he was cracking jokes. Seemed very normal to me. So I made the comment, man, he was cracking jokes. And the response was, yeah, well, you get to crack jokes when you win. He's not taking it seriously enough. I'm like, wait, which is it? And I think that's just the prism through which a lot of people view Brian Kelly. And it's almost like a politician. When you've been around for 20, 30 years in politics, or some cases longer, there's no fence sitters. Everyone's made up their mind about you, if they like you or don't like you. There's no swing vote any longer. You know what I mean? When you've been around that long. And Brian Kelly's been a head coach for this. He's said it many times. This is his 34th year. And he's been in high-profile positions for a decade at Notre Dame and now at LSU. And for better or worse, people have made up their minds about Brian Kelly. And it would take something significant to change their stance. The significant thing would be winning a national championship if he can climb that mountain. It's the singular reason why he's here. We say it often, why so many veteran coaches continue to leave the profession because they don't want to deal with revenue share. They don't want to deal with NIL and all the things that go in with the college game. Now, the reason I think that Brian Kelly's still here is not because he wants to deal with that stuff. It's because he wants to win a national championship. It's the one box on his career resume that he has not checked. And so he's got a great opportunity to do it here and with this team. But anyway, all that to say, Feinbaum asked Kelly about his authenticity, and this is what Brian Kelly said.
Look, I can't think in those terms, Paul. Like, I can't think like with the cameras on me, let me come up with something witty. I have a hard time pronouncing anyways. First time I got out in front of the team, it sounded like I had a Southern accent. So when you're a Boston guy who's been in the Midwest and you come down to the South, to me, the one thing that's great about being in the South, people are authentic. They are who they are. And I think that that's who I am. That's my background. And I'm not liked by a lot of people because of that. But at least at the end of the day, I can walk away and know who I am. And there's no anything else but that's who he is. And you can like him, you can hate him, whatever.
I may, it was interesting. I may ask Chris Marler to write a piece on that over at LouisianaSports.net. And if you're not familiar, we hired Chris a year ago to manage our social media, and he's also our SEC writer at LouisianaSports.net. Like Hunt is our primary LSU writer. Ross Jackson does a great job with our Saints content. And Chris is our SEC guy. He worked for Saturday Down South prior, lived in Atlanta, and now recently has moved to Baton Rouge. So just, a month ago moved to Baton Rouge after working remotely for a year. And so he's been at all the practices, all the media availability we have with Brian Kelly and Sloan and all the stuff. He's been at all the stuff. And I was sitting in Chris's office earlier today. We were talking, and we were talking about that specifically, the authenticity thing. And he's like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he was saying it was strange because it's like, Kelly seems like a really this was him relating to. He seems like a really likable guy. I was like, it's interesting, right? Considering what the perception is. And so we were having this conversation, and I think sometimes, not sometimes, it's very common actually, that narratives get crafted about people in the public eye based on whatever evidence might be presented. Like if you put me on a lie detector today and say, Matt, do you believe Brian Kelly was faking a Southern accent at that basketball game? I would swear on a stack of Bibles, put me on a lie detector. I do not think that man was trying to fake a Southern accent. I know the world believes that, but I think he just tripped his words, and I've listened to every word that man has spoken into a microphone since he got hired at LSU. And he's got a weird diction, and I think he just elongated a syllable. That's all. I don't think he was trying to be Southern. But the internets can be pretty hilarious at times, so they've taken it and run, and that's just fed into the narrative. I often say that people look for it's confirmation bias. When you've made up your mind about a person, a thing, an idea, you look for things to confirm, and then you ignore things that disconfirm that idea. The thing with Kelly, for me, is when he got hired, I had no real strong opinion on Brian Kelly. I certainly was very aware of Brian Kelly, the coach. He had a great run at Notre Dame. I just thought he had the issue at Notre Dame every coach has at Notre Dame. Until they were willing to relax the admission standards for football, you would never build a roster 1 to 85 good enough to win a national championship. And you could say, well, look at last year. They played for one. Yeah, and they got their ass kicked. And the same thing happened to Brian Kelly against Alabama and against Clemson when he got to a BCS championship game, when he got to the college football playoff. And it's just until they're willing at that place to relax admission standards to allow 85 guys in there that can compete against Bama and Clemson and LSU and Georgia. Like, they can get there if the path is right and things fall their way, but they're never going to win when they're there because they're going to run into Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, LSU, someone like that. So maybe that'll happen for Marcus Freeman, I don't know, but I guess I just understood, considering my history with Notre Dame and South Bend and being there and knowing a lot about that place, I just understood why he kept running into a brick wall, because every coach at that place is going to, and until I've always said it's a Notre Dame problem. It wasn't a Brian Kelly problem. But I do admire the fact that someone covering the team and covering him, I do admire the fact that I think he is authentic. And he really doesn't seem to give a rip if people hate him, which allows him to keep doing the things that he does, the awful dad jokes that never really seem to land, and coaching the team the way he knows how. And we'll see if it's good enough this year. Because the bottom line is, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about him, whether you love him, hate him, right, wrong, good, bad, Southern, Northeastern, Midwest. It just doesn't matter. You have to win. It's what I've said about Kelly since the day he was hired. People still to this day, how does Brian Kelly fit? It doesn't matter. Skip Bertman was a Jewish guy from Miami. Dale Brown's from Minot, North Dakota. Nick Saban's from West Virginia, spent his whole career in the Midwest. Just win. It's the only thing anybody cares about here. I mean, just win. Just win, and people will love you. And this will be his best opportunity to do it. Got $18 million sunken in this roster. You better go win. All right, it's after further review. Scott Shanley is next. Stay here.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Sigonair Airline, LA-16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Buy local, shop local. All right, y'all. It's August 26th. I know this. We're getting close to deer season. Now, you will never find me in a deer stand, ever. I ain't waking up at the butt crack of dawn to go sit my behind in a stand, wait for Bambi to walk by so I can boom! But I very much endorse your right to do that and very much enjoy eating the fruits of your labor. So, if you need to lure that little fawn in. I'm like, can you shoot fawns? Is that those the babies or is that the female? I don't know. I don't know anything about deer. All I know, bucks. At Clegg's, they got buck busters, they got mow bucks, they got deer corn, they got rice bran, they got all the things you need to fill those feeders and plots and all that stuff to bring on those deer. So buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger.
in the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We always appreciate our friends over at Sunshine, sunnyquip.com, sunnyquip.com. Remember, the newest location coming soon on Pico in Baton Rouge. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Former Saint Scott Shanley, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Scott, always appreciate it, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Hey, man, what is, maybe an obvious question, but what's a day like today in an NFL locker room like, cut down day?
Yeah, it's a little odd. I think there's a lot of young guys who are still kind of naive to the business, and you go through all off season, you go through training camp. There's 90 guys at camp to start off with, and then you have a few guys cut, and you don't really feel the business side of the game until right now, when that locker room gets cut drastically in half, and people you got to know over the past 5 or 6 months are no longer there, and you're moving on with those 53, and whoever those 53 guys are. There'll still be some shuffling. You know, if you're at the bottom of the roster, the last 3, 4, 5, 6 guys, nobody's really safe. But I think this is the first time where guys are like, okay, this is the business side of the game and how cutthroat it is.
Is there any day in particular that you remember a story of someone getting cut or something like that really comes to mind when you think about it?
Not in particular. I think every year, you know, as a veteran guy, you kind of look around and you kind of know. I think for the most part, the longer you play, the more you have a feeling of who's going to be on that 53-man roster. There's always a couple surprises here or there. Guys you're happy for, undrafted free agents, late-round picks who end up taking advantage of their opportunities. But nothing in particular that comes to mind as far as a specific story or anything.
Scott, the big news today outside of all the roster shuffling is that Kellen Moore did announce Spencer Rattler the starter. Reaction?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised one bit. Anybody who watched the 3 preseason games, obviously, you would have to be at every practice to probably be surprised by this. Maybe Tyler was playing better than him at every practice. But when it comes to the games, I don't know if a rookie did enough to supplant a guy who has 5 or 6 games of experience. And I think that's really what it comes down to is, are you going to throw Tyler to the Wolves week 1, NFL speed, when he really didn't show that he's ready for it? I'm not saying Spencer. I think Spencer was kind of disappointing in the preseason, to be honest. I thought he had so many reps last year that a lot of fifth-round picks don't get, that I thought he would be a little further ahead, to be honest. But I think this is kind of the safe pick. You protect Tyler a little bit. But Spencer, he's got an opportunity to keep the rookie on the shelf. He has to go out there and play well.
Scott, how much do you think – because I agree with you, especially the experience that Rattler has. But when you invest the 40th overall pick, a lot of times coaches, organizations will maybe give the benefit of the doubt to the person they have more invested in. So with that considered, how much do you think that they weigh the fact that Shuck was the 40th pick of the draft?
I think it's a huge weight. And I think a little bit of it, when you look at it from that perspective, Tyler's been a little bit disappointing. When you look at it from that perspective, you're hoping that when you're drafted that high, he's 26 years old, he's been around a long time, not in the NFL, but maturity-wise, you're hoping as an organization that he would take hold of those reins against Spencer, but he just never did that yet. Now, maybe it'll come along, maybe it'll start to click, and he's just not ready. And I think that's one of the downsides to only doing 3 preseason games. Heck, I know people hate preseason, but back when you had 4 preseason games, there were a lot more reps. You had a lot more training camp reps. You know, I don't want to make an excuse for Tyler. I was hoping he would take those reins and be that guy. And I think a little bit is disappointing that he's not the week 1 starter.
Do you think that Tyler Shough will start this year before the end of the season?
Yo, absolutely, no doubt. I think a better question would be, will he start before mid-October? I think the Saints really have to get out of the gate fast. I think Spencer has to play really well. I think Spencer has to play so well. Listen, Kellen didn't pick Spencer. He inherited him. And so a lot of times when you get to pick your guy in the draft, Tyler's always going to be his guy. He's always going to get the benefit of the doubt. That doesn't mean that Spencer Rattler can't be the franchise quarterback all year, but he's going to have to play really well and not give them any excuse to yank him.
Scott Shanley's with us, former Saint linebacker. Speaking of, boys, really impressive from an untrained eye watching a guy like Danny Stutzman and honestly Jalen Ford, a lot of those young linebackers. Scott, what were your impressions in this preseason watching some of those young guys at the position you used to play?
No, I think you're right talking about that position because DeMario, every time we say DeMario's getting old, DeMario's old, he goes out and he has a 13-tackle game. That was all year last year. I'm like, is DeMario getting older? He only had 6 tackles last week, and then he goes and has a great game. I think, but eventually, listen, Father Time's going to come calling, and you need to see growth out of the young linebackers. I think seeing Ford get the interception in the preseason game, Stutzman, there were rave reviews out of camp. He's very active. And he was like that at Oklahoma. He was a tackling machine. He was a captain of their defense. He got everybody lined up, and he plays the game with energy. And I think if those young guys can come along and learn behind 2 really good veterans in Pete and DeMario, they have an opportunity to extend their career because everybody wants to come in and play. But for me, I was fortunate. I was a late-round pick, but I got to study guys like Dat Wynn. Dat Wynn changed the trajectory of my career because I got to watch him as a pro and see him study and see him diagnose plays. And if these young guys take advantage of having a guy like DeMario in front of them and Pete Werner, they will extend their career and hopefully become starters.
Certainly looks like the future of that position is in good hands. Can't say the same about another former draft pick, Isaiah Foskey. Scott, it's just second-round pick. I mean, you expect those guys to be starters, and Isaiah Foskey over 2 years just could never find a way to make an impact on this team, and today he was cut. I don't think that's a great surprise, but if I asked you, what do you think went wrong with Foskey in New Orleans? Can you put your finger on it?
I think it just comes down to anytime a guy is the all-time sack leader in Notre Dame history, there's so much tradition and so many great players who have gone through there. You kind of think when you're going through your scouting that, hey, this guy should be able to play at the NFL level. It doesn't always correlate. And as odd as that sounds, I think sometimes scouts get caught up in guys going to bigger universities, being productive at those universities, and not really looking at their attributes and is their get off or is their bend going to be good enough to get around offensive tackles in the NFL? Because the tackles that these guys rush against in college are drastically different than the tackles they rush against in the NFL. And I just never saw the athleticism out of Isaiah that he needed to be a good pass rusher in the NFL. So I think it was just a misdiagnosis when it came to scouting, and he was drafted probably way too high.
Hey, Scott, before you go, we've also seen Mickey Loomis make a couple of trades here, and it may not feel like a big deal, but they added Devon Vele. They gave up a couple of future picks. They added today an offensive lineman that they got from Dallas, Asim Richards. They gave up a couple of 28 picks. How do you feel about trading future assets for guys on this year's Saints team when maybe I'm leading a little bit here, but I don't think there's tremendous expectation on this team, and you're giving up future assets for maybe to be marginally better on a team that's not expected to be very good. Just maybe if you would have thought on those decisions and what they're doing to acquire some of these assets.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a real big fan of it. Getting rid of assets to really, you're trading for really a lot of backup guys. Outside of Bailey at receiver, they're hoping he'll be a big part of the offense. He's really the only big-bodied receiver they have, and they felt like they needed that. But even that situation, you gave up a bunch of draft capital. You could have signed Amari Cooper to a one-year deal and got through this year. But I think the one thing that's hard to tell Mickey Loomis is that they're not going to win the season. I firmly believe people in that organization, they've won so much since 2006 that they believe every year that they can win. And sometimes those expectations aren't realistic. This year, the schedule is set up for them to win more games than I think people think they'll win. But a lot of it's going to come down when you put that much capital in the offensive line. They better play well. They better be a top 3 or 4 offensive line in the NFL. If they're not, you're going to struggle with the quarterback position and a lot of other things. So I'm not a fan of giving up that much draft capital for backup players.
Vegas has the win total over under 5.5. I'm not sure if some of you ever paid attention to when you play. What do you think about that number this year? Over under 5.5. If you think they're going to win more than people think.
You know what? I watch a game, I watch a series, and I'm like, oh man, I go under on that. Then I see somebody come in and do something. Then I look at the schedule, and I think the schedule is set up to win some games that Vegas probably isn't thinking they'll win. Early on, they have home games. The schedule is not real daunting. There's no Bills, or there is Bills. There's no Ravens, Chiefs, teams like that. So I think they can pull out a couple games. But especially in the NFC South, not the worst division to be in. but they got to stay healthy. That's been the biggest thing with this Saints team the past 4 years. I mean, you cannot win games by having as many starters they have in the training room all year.
Yeah. Last year was a brutal display of that. Standard by which nobody should be judged because of all the injuries a year ago. We'll see how it all turns. Scott Shanley, former Saint Grade Super Bowl champ, good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us. Thanks as always, man.
Yep, no problem.
We appreciate it. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. I always tell you about their energy-efficient replacement windows, the beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. They do it all. They do shutters as well. And I always say they do it better than anyone because at Relief Windows, they do windows, doors, siding, and shutters, but their real number one product is customer service. This is a review from Josh on Facebook who said, it was really refreshing to have a company stand behind their product and honor their warranty without having to jump through hoops. Top-notch customer service. I mention this often when I say true lifetime transferable warranty. A lot of companies can say they have a lifetime warranty. How long have those companies been around to know if they'll actually be around to honor that warranty if and when the time comes? You never have to worry about it with Relief Windows. So I say it all the time. You want to go shop? You want to go shop for cheaper windows? Sure. Someone will do it cheaper. But remember what your mama told you? You get what you pay for. And at Relief Windows, you get experience, quality, and service. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. What a day over at LSU. A landmark day, actually, for how Tiger Stadium will look, feel, and sound moving forward. Thought on that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet. A week from Friday. 1 week from Friday, the Renaissance Hotel is transformed into LSU football operations. That's right, the Friday before every home game. That's where the Tigers stay when they get off of campus because of all the hoopla of the tailgaters descending upon campus. They got to get them somewhere quiet and secluded. So where do they go? They go to Renaissance Baton Rouge. Sprawling hotel with tons of meeting space, enough to host the individual position group meetings. Their grand ballroom is where LSU has their team meals. The entire Renaissance is where LSU football moves into. So this football season, you want to stay where the Tigers stay? Got people coming in from out of town? Remind them about Renaissance Baton Rouge, right there on Bluebonnet near I-10, across from the Mall of Louisiana and Perkins Row. So you got shopping right there, easy access to I-10, and then downtown toward campus. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge. Remember, Watermark Downtown and Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders. We're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
One who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor's sexy. Well, she ain't in the car.
Jimmy Ott will be here in about 15 minutes from right now. Look forward to that conversation. Otterlocks are posted at louisianasports.net. You want to go make your bets, you can. Inching closer to LSU and Clemson, but a week from Saturday will be LSU's home opener, and that is when LSU will debut a new voice of Tiger Stadium. As we learned, Dan Bornay retired this offseason. Last year, of course, Deacon Dan took a leave, and Bill Franquez, the longtime voice of Alec Box Stadium, pinch hit for Dan Bornay. And with Mr. Dan announcing his retirement this offseason, LSU is looking for a new voice of Tiger Stadium for the first time in more than 35 years thereabouts. And Dixon McMakin has been chosen. Tiger Rag was the first to report that at louisianasports.net. We reported it also this afternoon. LSU is yet to formally announce that. So we'll wait for a formal announcement from LSU, but this is done. And I'm excited. Listen, I think I told you this when Dan Bornay announced his retirement. I've known Dan Bornay almost my whole life, probably since I was 8 years old. I should say maybe like he's obviously a grown up when I was a child, but our families have been friends for a very long time, and he has always been immensely generous, gracious. He is the soundtrack to Tiger Stadium. When people my age think about every memory going into Tiger Stadium, that is what Tiger Stadium sounds like Dan Bornay. My family moved to Baton Rouge in the summer of 1989 from New Orleans. I mean, we come up and go to games, but outside of just football, basketball regularly, and then, and of course, being in Tiger Stadium basically every Saturday. That is the soundtrack of my life and what Tiger Stadium sounds like. And that's going to change, and things change. And for me, for many, before me, if you're older, like you remember John Ferguson. I don't. People who might be even older remember J.C. Politz on the radio. I obviously don't. So things change and they evolve. And there's a generation of fans now that will not know Jim Hawthorne. They'll know Chris Blair as the voice of the Tigers. And that is the natural evolution. And so too will it be here with the voice of Tiger Stadium. And I'll tell you, knowing Dixon for a very long time, Dixon went to Catholic. He's a 2005 graduate, so he's 5 years younger than me. So he's 38, I guess. I love the fact that you've hired someone. And by the way, I do not know who else applied. Like, I know Bill Franquez filled in last year. I do not know if Bill wanted the job full time. I have no idea. I have not asked. I don't really know that it matters. I don't know how many people applied. But I do like the fact that at 38 years old, in theory, Dixon could do this for 30 years like Dan Bornay did. And for the next 3 decades or longer, there will be a familiar sound of Tiger Stadium. That's not to say that anybody who's older should be disqualified, or I don't mean that. It's just to say Dixon is at a similar age now that Dan Bournet was when he got the job as the public address announcer in Tiger Stadium. So I do like that. The other thing, too, that I think a lot of people may not realize is Dixon has already been doing this for a long time. He has been the voice of Tiger Park, calling as the public address announcer at Tiger Park. He did. I'm pretty sure last season he did men's basketball home games while Dan Bournet was on leave. He's done volleyball. He's done beach volleyball at LSU. He's done soccer. He's done the last two spring games, or two of the last three spring games at Tiger Stadium. He's emceed like the coaches clinic and the championship celebration for gymnastics. Like Dixon's already been in that world for the last 5 years, starting in 2021. Like I said, I've known Dixon for a long time, and not that any of you necessarily care about this, but there is an association. When I stopped calling Catholic high games on Friday nights after 2015, Dixon started on the broadcast a year later as the color analyst, and then in 2017 took over as the play-by-play guy, which he's done every year since. So 17 through 20, now going through 25, which I presume he'll continue to do. But I like the idea that, yes, thank you. Sid Crocker was the voice of Tiger. John Ferguson was the radio broadcaster, is what I was saying. It was Polites, Ferguson, Hawthorne, then Blair. But Sid Crocker was the voice of Tiger Stadium before Dan Bournet. But the point being, you got a guy that went to LSU, that loves LSU, that is a super high energy guy, that I think is going to do a great job, that's already been doing public address at LSU in other sports you may not be aware of since 2021. So I think this is it's a great choice. It's a very natural flow and selection. And I love the fact that you're talking about a guy that is young enough to do this for potentially the next 30, 40 years, if he wants to do it and continues to do it, which would be awesome. So generations of LSU fans will get to hear a similar, familiar voice like my generation did with Dan Bournet, and prior to that with Sid Crocker, and then so on. So congrats to Dixon McMakin, the new voice of Tiger Stadium. He'll make his debut as the voice of Tiger Stadium a week from Saturday when LSU opens up at home against Louisiana Tech. It'll sound different, and change is not easy for people. I understand that. As human beings, we are inherently resistant to change, and that's okay. It's okay. But it's going to be okay. Dixon's going to do a great job. So we offer him our congratulations. I'm sure whenever LSU puts it out publicly, Dixon will do the media circuit. We'll look to have him on the show and talk a little bit about it. But I'm happy for him and excited to see what the future may hold there. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. Two things primarily. Number one, I keep reminding you parents, if you haven't done it yet, make sure you bring your kids for their annual eye exam, okay? Start of the school year is a great benchmark to remind people, okay, start of the school year is a good time to make sure you do it. Like, bring your kid to the dentist if you haven't had their cleaning, their 6-month cleaning. Bring your kid to the eye doctor to get their eye exam, get their eyes checked. If they need contacts or glasses, if you need contacts or glasses, remember, Williamson Eye Center is a full-service optical shop. So it's eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery, so that you can get your contacts and glasses prescriptions filled there at the Williamson Eye Center as well. 8 locations all over Greater Baton Rouge, from Baton Rouge proper, Lutcher, Denham, Zachary, St. Francisville, all over. And, of course, number 2, if you want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center has a refractive procedure for you. No matter your age or your refractive issue, you want to see perfectly without contacts or glasses, you can trust Dr. Blake Williamson. It's WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com for the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks in just a smidge. Man, we are really cranking toward the weekend, which I'm fired up about. By the way, Friday's show, we will be live at Don Juan Cigar Bar. That's a change this year that you're probably going to notice a little bit. There are going to be some Fridays where we're not in studio, our Football Fridays will be live, for some of them, at Don Juan Cigar Bar in conjunction with great partners. So, for example, this Friday, we're live for Football Friday at Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented by Pinhook Bourbon. If you are not familiar, Pinhook Bourbon is outstanding. I would not recommend a whiskey if I did not think it was good. And Pinhook is outstanding. I love rye whiskey. You can find that rye for $30. It's as good a value that you'll find anywhere. If you love bourbon, the Pinhook Vertical, which we'll tell you more about. So on Friday at Don Juan, we'll have samples of Pinhook. They'll be making cocktails with Pinhook. You come learn more about Pinhook. Come hang out with us, watch the show, smoke a cigar, have a whiskey, have a cocktail, have a beer, whatever. You knock off early on a Friday. It's a Football Friday. If you're not making the trip to Clemson, come join us. Hang out with us Friday at Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented by Pinhook Bourbon. We're looking forward to that. Okay, y'all. Let's see. We'll get to Otterlocks to wrap up next. Is there anything else I've missed? That's so much stuff we didn't even get to, man. There's, Dabo met with reporters. Brian Kelly was on with Feinbaum. So much talk about this LSU-Clemson game as we steamroll closer to Saturday as we dig in deeper. And last hour we talked more deeply about LSU's secondary, which, Clemson returns its top 3 receivers from a season ago. But I think LSU has dramatically upgraded its talent in the secondary. Chris Carrier was with us yesterday on the show, former LSU safety, who talked about the need for LSU, obviously, to be great at safety, to have great eye discipline, to help in run defense, and to know their checks. It's just going to be a massive way for how they might be able to defend against Cade Klubnik and these experienced, talented wide receivers. So nothing new for any of these guys who've been through the fires before. They got a big test coming up on Saturday night in Clemson, South Carolina. We're counting you down to it. All right, final break of the show. We'll come back. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Of course, you can go to social media at Get Gordon, at Get Gordon, at Get Gordon on any of the social media platforms. And remember, the Gordon McKernan annual Billboard Design Competition is back. Oh, yeah. Get creative. Get cracking, get your billboard design in, and you could win up to $2,000 in prizes, a donation to a charity of your choice, courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, and the opportunity to see your billboard all around town and be admired. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, Gordon loves to have fun with the billboards, loves to include the community, so here's your chance. You go to getgordon.com/billboards, getgordon.com/billboards, or at getgordon on social media to get all the info. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. We always appreciate our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Great people, they're local, been around forever. Of course, you know the drill. You want a Deere bunkie and below, you're going to Sunshine. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. The newest location coming on Piku. Tailgate season's almost here, y'all. You need your generators. You need your fans for your tailgate area. All your power supplies, they got you at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Water. What up?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Fired up, man. We are inching closer, just 2 days from week one, man. From Thursday to Monday, 5 straight days of just gorging on football, and I can't wait for it, man.
There you go.
What we got for an appetizer? What we got for an appetizer today?
We do have some appetizers. Let's start with a couple of teams that routed last night. We're going to get back on them tonight. Chris Bassett at home for Toronto. Toronto, you know how they are. They're trying to run away, but Boston keeps winning to try and hang in there. They're going against the Twins, one of the biggest disappointments this year. Can't lay that big number, so we're going to put them in a parlay with the Brewers. Cubbies have shown a little life, so the Brewers got to take care of business. They did last night as well. We think both of them will hold serve again at home against Minnesota and Arizona. So Milwaukee, Toronto, moneyline parlay plays plus 135.
Okay.
I'll get you an update on that right now.
I'm looking at plus 130.
130. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 130 went down some. All right, let's go to Atlanta. Former Florida Gator, Kyle Waldrop, first-round pick for the Florida Gators. He's already out to a 1-0 lead over Sandy Alcantara. We've talked about Alcantara fading him. You know, the price is not worth it. The former Cy Young Award winners piled up the innings pitched, so he's run out of gas a little bit here. But Atlanta already up 1-0. We did submit that on the website. Minus 213 is not worth doing it right now.
Okay.
Dodgers tonight. Dodgers, we're not going to raise the run line. Kershaw has been really good as of late. Hunter Green, they beat last night. He had good stuff, but the Dodgers, in a battle for the NL West, they won. San Diego lost last night, so now they have a game lead. San Diego has a much more favorable schedule in the last month, so Dodgers need to put some ground, put some ground between themselves and the Padres before we hit to September. Dodgers -1 is minus, I gave it to you earlier, like 136. -1,
Dodgers,
minus 136.
Yep, minus $1.36, yes.
And then San Diego tonight. San Diego hit 4 home runs, but it wasn't enough. One of the pickups they made before the trade deadline has blown up in their face, and that's Spence, the pitcher from the A's. He got bombed again last night at Seattle. Big dumper with his 50th for the Mariners. He's just plus 130. Aaron Judge is even money right now for the AL MVP. By the way, Paul Skeens probably stood it up last night, even though he didn't pitch. Our guy gave up a 3-0 lead, gave up Sanchez, gave up 6 earned runs. He went from minus $5 to minus $50. So 5-1 to 50-1. 5-1 to 50-1 for Skeens. It's all but sewn up for the NL Cy Young. Dylan Cease, we're going to go for him. He's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Castillo's been getting hit a little bit. He's got to get long in the tooth. We're going to take the Padres at on the road here. Minus 106 earlier. It's minus 109 right now. So one parlay and 3 money line plays in baseball tonight.
Braves, Dodgers, Padres, and then the money line parlay with Toronto and Milwaukee. Where are you tomorrow?
We're at Modesto, near campus, getting ready for, we'll be at Modesto tomorrow and walk-ons on Thursday. So getting ready. Campus life, man. You know, it's out of town, but still getting you ready for the regular season at Tiger Stadium.
All right. It's Live at Lunch with Jimmy and Charlie, and Otterlocks are over at LouisianaSports.net. Thank you, Otter.
All right, good luck.
All right, same to you. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, helping you cover the spread all football season long. Rouses.com, Rouses.com. You having a game watch party this weekend for the Tigers and the Tigers? Rouse's can help. They got your beer, they got your booze, they got your wine, they got all your sandwich trays, your party trays, your platters, all your sides, fixins, chips, dips. You don't feel like cooking, Rouse's can handle all of it. Place your order at the deli. They got your sweets, your flowers for your centerpieces, for either your home gate, your tailgate. Rouse's is helping you cover the spread all year long. Rouses.com, Rouses.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. Hey, this is cool. If you missed it earlier today, we posted it up at LouisianaSports.net. There's a local sports apparel company called Legion. You might remember Joe Lawrence, former LSU football player, was, of course, a Major League Baseball player as well. Joe and several partners founded Legion, which first athlete offering they have are shoulder pads. And they signed a handful of local athletes as their first brand ambassadors, including Garrett Nussmeier. So we have this posted up at the website. It's a cool video and Nuss wearing the pads. It's Garrett Nussmeier, Whit Weeks, by the way. Jacob Bradford, the freshman safety at LSU. Those are the 3 LSU players who are part of the Legion roster. Then also 5-star quarterback Elijah Haven of Dunham and 5-star safety Blaine Bradford are also doing NIL deals here as brand ambassadors for Legion. You want to read more about it, you can. But really cool concept. New shoulder pad entering the market. A Baton Rouge-based company. Obviously, Joe Lawrence's history with Marucci. Pretty good brand builder there. They got a great team there as well. And it was pretty cool to see that. So if you want to read more about it, it's all at LouisianaSports.net. There's under special sections, there's Lanyap. You can see a lot of that stuff there. It's not necessarily game or team related, but stuff like this. So Nuss, Witt out there doing NIL deals. All right, it's going to do it for us here today. Muse Pauly, appreciate y'all. Remember, if y'all miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
Getting on down the road, let me remind you about Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Y'all, this process is so easy. Have mold, think you might? If you've had water intrusion in your home, you probably have mold that you don't know about hidden in your walls. Let Parish Restoration come take a look. Their process is simple, it's efficient, and cost-effective. They'll come in, they can do your home in half a day. They'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. Patented, no one else can do it. Non-toxic, safe for pets, plants, family, all of it. And it's dry fog. Dry, meaning it can get on your furniture and your carpet and your walls. It's not going to ruin your books. It's not going to ruin anything. Matter of fact, it's going to clean. It's going to kill mold. It's going to sanitize your spaces, other harmful pathogens, and it's going to get rid of odor. You're going to go home into a clean-smelling home, office, vehicle. ParishRestoration.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app. 90s country and beyond. 100.7 The Tiger.